What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today, y'all? It is Friday. Y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Noisette. I want to welcome each and every one of you guys for being here. I really do appreciate y'all taking the time out your day just to come and hang out with your boy. And I have got to say, we have got a lot of good things to talk about today. We are going to be covering things from the actor strike. It is finally over. And that means things are going to get started. Things are going to get pushed back. We're going to go through all of that. We got things going on with Marvel. I can't wait to talk about some of those things. We're going to talk about Marvel and some different things that are happening with them. And then at the end of all of this, we have got to talk about episode 6 of Loki. Woo! So I hope if you watching, I hope you've already seen Loki, because we about to get into that episode. There's a lot to get into that. So I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna try and get through these topics so we can hurry up and get to Loki. I'm a little bit more excited to talk about Loki, so I'm gonna try and get through this just a little bit. All right. But just for some of you guys that are new here, first of all, welcome. Very happy to have you here. If you would like to participate in one of the best live chats in all of YouTube, all you have to do is just become a subscriber. Trust me, it's free 99, not charging nothing for it. Hit that subscribe button and you too can join in on the chat. Share your thoughts, get down with the E-Fam, become a member of the E-Fam, and have a good time with the rest of us. Trying to think if there's anything. Oh, shout out to the replay gang. Man, y'all been really coming through on the replays. Thank you so much, man. Like, for real, y'all be coming. Like, I've seen some of y'all on the live come back for the replays. Man, I really do appreciate it. Listen, every comment helps. All the algorithm boosts, that helps, brother. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Hold on, let's see, I got to give some thanks. Who's hooking the brother up? We've got Davion. Oh my gosh, Davion, thank you so much. Let's see, for the $3 Cash App, for back on the live tonight, Loki for press. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And shout out to my homegirl Charlissa. Thank you so much for the $15 Cash App that you sent last week. Definitely appreciate it, guys. That goes a long way. So I thank y'all so much. All right, let me go ahead and give some quick shout outs to see who is here with us tonight. And then we are going to get started. Let's see, my man Ernest. Oh man, good to see you, Ernest. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Thank you so much for being here. Aloha right back to you, Mr. Hughes. Good to see you. I'm a little envious, man. Y'all out there in the islands. We out here struggling with this weather over here in Chicago. I'd love to, go back out there one day. But thank you so much for being here. Allie girl, what is up? I know you're going to be on the replay. Don't worry. We're going to go through Loki, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts as well. Ism, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Deborah, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here as always. My man Johnny Washington's in the building. Good to see you. Kimmy, how you doing? Good to see you. Now, I wouldn't be alive without Ms. Harper. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for being here. Always appreciate it. We got the homie Zia Latrice. Good to see you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. Toby is back in action. Thank you so much for being here. Nia, how you doing? T-ville, what is up? My man Tane, how you doing? Keeping me up on them crab legs. I appreciate you, brother. My man sends me them ads. Lets me know when them crab legs go on sale, and I'm with it. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Davion, what's going on? Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Corey, shout out. What is up? Jesus or Jesus, what is up? Good to see you. My man Reese is back in here. Thank you so much. Was your birthday on November 1st? I'm sorry that we're a little late with it, but happy belated birthday to you, Reese. I hope you had a wonderful time on your birthday. 60 plus, good to see you. Thank you so much. There we go. Charlotte, there you go. I'm glad that you're here on the live. Yeah, listen, it's fine on live or on the replay. Either way, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Mama J's in the building. What's going on? Good to see you too. Treese is here. Good to see you. Diamond, how you doing? My man Theo is back in action. Good to see you. Where there you go, Terrence. Oh, wait, no, hold on. There we go, Terrence. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Tasha. I see you as well. My man Didier, what's going on? Thank you so much. Didn't hate the Marvels. I understand. Listen, by the way, I just dropped my spoiler-free review for the Marvels. So you guys can check that out on the channel. I do apologize. I had to make that kind of quick, so the video quality is not as great. I had to make that on the fly. But if you want the spoilers, if you want the longer one, head on over to my man's channel, Just My Opinion Reviews. It was me, Elliot, and Brandon. We sat down, we went through the whole movie. So you can go check out that longer spoiler review over there. But thank you so much. And by the way, the movie is divisive. I mean, I told y'all it was a mixed bag. Some people are like, it was actually all right. It was cool. Other people are like, I hate it. It's trash. They just don't like it. And listen, I understand both sides. Like y'all saw if you saw my review, I'm kind of on the middle because some things work, some things really didn't work for me, but I totally understand either side of the equation. So I'm not gonna say one is right or the other. But I get it. Let's see. My man Dre is back. Good to see you, man. Paul, what's up? Storm Shadow, how you doing? My man Marcus is back here. What's up? How are you? Who else we got? Kiki, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Nelson, what is up? Good to see you. Dre, hello. Darth, how you doing? Raymond, what's up? And let's see, I'm gonna get the last ones. Tyra, good to see you. Michael, good to see you. Kid Mello, what's up? Omar, how you doing? And Rhonda, the homie, what's up? And shout out to everyone that has made it out tonight. I really do appreciate y'all once again for taking the time to hang out with your boy. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's grab this here. My man Anthony, ready to listen while I lift, man. Go ahead, get a good extra pump in for me. I'm gonna try and do some push-ups after this, maybe later tomorrow or something like that. I don't know, but go ahead and do your thing, man. Thank you so much. Let's see. Deborah, sending Kobe some snacks. That is so well timed. I don't know why or how you thought it is. I actually do need to go buy him some food. So this is actually perfect. Thank you so much, Deborah. And I'm sure Kobe would welcome that. And thank you as well. Man, it's been a while. I don't think I have any Kobe updates. He been doing anything? He threw up today. That was only the real. Yeah, that was about it. I don't know what he been getting into, but he threw up today. But he's fine. He ate. He's doing his regular thing, so he should be fine. But outside of that, thank you. All right, look, we got to get to Loki. So let's get through this news, and then we're gonna get through everything else. Okay. So first of all, my goodness, y'all, the strike is finally over. My God, this thing took 118 days. Okay, the actor strike has been the one thing I didn't think was gonna take this long, but the writers are now straight with Hollywood. The directors they've been straight with Hollywood, and now the actors have finally come to terms with the studios, and now we can get back to business. So I try to avoid giving y'all constant updates because for a long time it was always kind of like back and forth. Like they would offer something, and the last time the studios was on some BS. Okay, the studios reportedly were sitting here talking about AI as kind of like they're non-negotiable. They didn't want to back down on the fact that they wanted to use AI to use an actor's portrayal. Let's say somebody that was dead and gone, and they would pay you, right? But they'd give you a one-time payment, and that's it. And they could use that actor's likeness or whatever in perpetuity. Now, I know good and well, y'all must have lost y'all mind. Ain't no way somebody in that boardroom really thought that this was going to be a good idea to pay people one time, and you never ever have to pay the estate. You don't have to pay the family, and you don't need additional consent. Are you kidding me? Where does this even work? Who does that? Who signs off on something like that? Like that had to have been the dumbest thing I've ever heard from the studio. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been a couple other things that the actors would want that didn't seem really realistic. But the studio, y'all tripping. Y'all was tripping big time if y'all thought that was even close to being anything. You mean to tell me you're gonna dig up some dead actor or dead celebrity, you're gonna put them, you're gonna make money with them, and then all you did was sign some little $500 check for the next 5, 10, 20 years, 30 years? Stop it. That's just ridiculous. Now, listen, at the end of the day, you should always need consent from the family. So like, or if the person while they're alive, if they made a deal with you, then that's different. What was it? James Earl Jones, Stan Lee, they signed away, their likeness. They made whatever money, they made whatever that's fine. But y'all can't do that with people that are already gone. You can't do that. That's just trash. But anyway, let's get to the news about this deal. He says here, after a grueling 118 days on the strike, SAG-AFTRA has officially reached a tentative agreement on a new 3-year contract with studios, a move that is heralding the end of the 2023 actor strike. The SAG-AFTRA TV Theatrical Committee approved the agreement in a unanimous vote on Wednesday. And the strike will end at 12:01 on Thursday and Friday today. The deal will go to the union's national board for approval. However, since we are here, the national board has already approved it, and it has been 86% in favor. Now the actors will next vote will be to ratify the deal. And I got a very good feeling that they're going to go ahead and just rock with this. So here's the thing. The actors have pretty much, I don't know exactly, we don't know the specifics yet. We do know a couple things that were just briefly outlined, and maybe we'll get more specifics later on. But this is a 3-year deal. Okay, so this is very similar, at least in terms of being tentative, that they did with the writers. The writers deal is not something that's going to be like a 10, 20, 30-year deal. So I think right now, both parties, studios, writers, studios, actors, I think right now they're really sitting here saying, let's try this out. And if we try this out and nobody screws up on either side, now we can see where this is going. And now we can kind of get an idea. If this works for both of us, we can move forward. We can go ahead and start making, longer deals. And, now we have a baseline to work with. So hopefully, what are we in? Hopefully by 2026, we're okay. Hopefully we're not going through this same dance again. Because I told y'all, these strikes, they do come back to hurt us too. The actors get hurt. The people that are working up, yes, the people closest get hurt. But it does come back down to us too. So I am very, very glad that things are getting back into motion. We will go through a couple of those things as well. But as far as what actually got accomplished here, it says here that the union said that the pact is valued at over $1 billion and includes pay increases higher than what other unions received this year, a streaming participation bonus, and regulations on AI. It also includes higher caps on health and pension funds, compensation bumps for background performers, and critical contract provisions protecting diverse communities. Now, the studios had this to say. Basically, they're trying to tout that this is including the largest increase in minimum wages in the last 40 years. By the way, that's really not saying much. I hate it when studios or employers say stuff like that. Because imagine if you were getting screwed over, you never got a pay raise at your job, you continued to make $5.75, the minimum wage from like 30 years ago, and they sit here and say, hey, we about to give you the largest deal you've ever had, the largest minimum you've ever had, and they increase you to just $6. Like, come on now. Don't be trying to act like y'all did something huge. Now, we'll see. I'd rather hear what the actors union have to say, but I'm just saying, I don't really trust how they're wording this. But anyway, they said that, it's the largest increase in minimum wages in the last 40 years. a brand new residual for streaming programs, extensive consent and compensation protections in the use of AI, and a sizable contract increase on items across the board. All right, listen, fine. I'm just glad y'all got this worked out. I'm glad y'all got this stuff, to the point where we can finally get things back into motion. That is pretty much all I've been hoping for at this point. As long as both sides are happy, I knew both sides weren't going to get everything that they wanted, but that's the nature of compromise anyway. But anyway, what do y'all think about this? That we now finally have the strike over. Are you excited about this? Does this get you more, I don't know, interested in like the things to come? What do you think? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. Let me grab these here. Let's see. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, let's see. Ernest, what you got? I've been working late night. I want you to know that I've been a member of the replay gang. Thank you so much. But I so missed the lives. We missed you too, man. Bro, Loki was fire. I want to know all the Marvel shows. Give me a 1 out of 10. Okay, cool. Listen, I don't know about all the Marvel shows, but we definitely are going to get more things, and we'll talk about those. We will talk about those coming up. But I like the direction Marvel's going in right now. I don't know if Loki is the exception, but I think that this was a good stopgap. I think this is a good breather for people to realize Marvel's not done, or whatever people were thinking about. So I am excited with the fact that the way it's ended right now, it's opening up more possibilities. But you got me talking about Loki. We're gonna talk about all that later on. Thank you so much, brother, and I appreciate your support. Hopefully, we can see more of you here. Let's see. Jay, what you got? The studios tried the LBFO tactic last week. Yeah, they did try that. They did, but luckily it did not have to get down to that. And we got a deal. I'm just I have no idea. I'm so glad, because this also means we're gonna get more news, we're gonna get more interviews, we're gonna get more people acting out of pocket. Somebody gonna say something stupid. We're gonna have more things to talk about. I'm glad. I'm so happy. I'm happy. We're gonna have some juicier lives. That's all I know is gonna happen. Anthony, glad it's over. Feel bad for all business that were hurt. Yes, I definitely hurt. I also feel bad for a lot of the people that were out of work for a long period of time. Obviously that was not cool for them. And shout out to a lot of the foundations, some of the celebrities that pulled their money together to try to help them. Shout out to some of the studios like A24 that were still employing people to work because they went along with the actors unions rules and regulations and stuff. But hey, listen, everybody can get back to work now. Hopefully people are gonna be all right. And yeah, hopefully things will work for the better. Natalie, what you got? Thank you so much. Y'all striking from the like button. Hit the likes. Yes, please. If you're enjoying the content, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that like button. Really does mean a lot. But thank you so much for that. All right, let's move on. What else do we have? So we have some TV updates, right? So again, because the strike is now officially over with the actors, we have some news for different TV shows that are coming up, maybe things that are delayed, whatever the case is. But a lot of y'all have been asking me about this, and I told y'all I was excited about this before, but we do have some information here, and that is for a favorite show of mine, one fun one, Reacher season 2 just set its premiere date. And it also dropped its first trailer. I do apologize, I don't have the trailer with me right now, but it didn't really show that much. But the first 3 of the episodes of the 8 episodes will drop on December 15th. And it's going to come out every week on Fridays through January 19th. So I am very, very excited for Reacher. And look, I wouldn't say that Reacher was like the best show ever. But I had a good time watching it. Like, I watched it with low to no expectations. I did not read the books. I watched the Tom Cruise movies or whatever, but I liked it. I love Alan Richardson in the role. This dude just swole. Like, he swole on top of swole for no reason. But he definitely fits the bill for the character. So I am definitely happy that they are coming back with that. I think that that is a great positive. What else do we have? Oh, we got an update here for The Boys. So once again, right after the strike came out, we really started to hear more things about the about different TV shows and stuff. So we have an update. This is from the showrunner of The Boys, Eric Kripke. He says here, here's the update. Editing is done. The VFX halfway done. Music and sound about a quarter done. Now that the SAG strike is over, the actors can go record additional dialogue. No air date yet, but will be worth the wait. It could be our best season for sure, our craziest. Now, let me just say, I totally believe everything he just said. In terms of like the boys being the best season, every season they've managed to take it up a notch. I don't know how they keep doing it, but every season they find a new way to make me sit here and say, "What the f? What are y'all doing? How? What?" Like, every time. And then Gen V comes out, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, all right, Gen V gonna be just a little BS, little spinoff or whatever. Gen V was cool too. And it set up Boy season 4 even more. So I was like, yo, if this man said it's gonna be even crazier, if this man said it could be the best that they have, I believe him. Because they have not dropped the ball yet. Okay, so I'm looking forward to it. The Boys is definitely something that we will have to cover for sure. But yes, I am here for that. Very, very happy to hear about that update. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this one too. It's still a TV show update, but I'm gonna switch it up. We got to talk about Cousin. Oh man, if y'all have not been watching The Bear on FX, Hulu, such a great show. I really, really enjoy The Bear. It is such a fun show, and now we have an update as well that The Bear has been renewed for season 3. That is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. I am definitely looking forward to it. Definitely one of my favorite shows. It was a surprise. It was a bit of a surprise. I had no idea I would like it as much as I did. But it is definitely something that was pretty cool. But here's the other thing. We got what's this guy's name? Jeremy Allen White, I believe. My man's he made the news a little bit because he had some comments in his latest interview, and a lot of it had to do with his approach to superhero movies. Now, here's the thing. I like this guy. Like, this dude is a great actor, right? He's about to be in I think it's called Iron Claw with Zac Efron. It's gonna be about a wrestling family and all this stuff. But and he's obviously wonderful in The Bear as well. But he had some comments about Marvel and superhero movies, and it sucks because I really thought he could play Sentry in the MCU. But that might not be the case. That might not be the case. But here's what he had to say that was kind of making a little news, and it might get a couple feathers ruffled here and there. He said here, I had a meeting for a kind of Marvel-y movie, and I had an attitude. I think I played it all wrong. It said here, White was skeptical and showed it in front of the execs. Tell me about why I should do your movie, White says, recreating the meeting now at Found Oyster, crossing his arms and leaning back, the table set with enough seafood to fill the entire cast of The Little Mermaid. They were like, forget you, White says, and I was like, right on. So basically, my man came up there and was like, man, man, Marvel, tell me why I gotta be in your funky little movie. Let me know. Why I gotta be in your movie? Marvel was like, what? Forget you. They didn't say forget you. They said it in a different way, but forget you. You not know who we are? We Marvel. Like what? Did you not know all the people we made stars? Who are you talking to? And it was like, all right. But my man Alan was like, right on. Cool. Bye. Like, okay. It just seems so unnecessary. Like, why, if you didn't want to be in a Marvel movie, why'd you just say that? Why are you gonna even have this meeting? You know, if you're not interested, I don't know. Anyway, he went on to say this. He said, during our meetings, White expressed skepticism towards superhero flicks. He said, I'm confused at how the pinnacle of an actor's career has ended up in that place. Now, he said this last year, but 12 months later, he softened up a bit. He said they get really good filmmakers to do those movies, and obviously they get really good actors to do those movies. Now he's trying to be more diplomatic, but he wasn't sure if he would be burning bridges at this stage of his career, but he doesn't regret it either way. I played it the way I wanted to play it. Okay. I mean, listen, I like the Bear, but I can't sit here and say that everybody knows who Jeremy Allen White is because of the Bear. And I think wasn't he on Shameless too or whatever? So, he's right in the sense that you should do it your own way. If that's how you feel, cool, do your thing. Best of luck to you. But at the same time, I'm gonna need you not to act as though the superhero machine hasn't actually made people household names. Let's not act as though Chris Evans was somebody people were actively checking for until Captain America took him over the hump. Nobody was checking for Chris Hemsworth until he became Thor. Tom Holland was doing backflips in his backyard until he became Spider-Man. And because he was Spider-Man, he got to do so many other movies that none of y'all have even seen. Okay? So all I'm saying is, don't act like the superhero movie genre is just something like, he's like, I don't know when that was a pinnacle. It started in 2008. That's when it started to become the pinnacle. When Robert Downey sat here and took the MCU on his shoulders and like ran with it, that's when it started. By the way, shout out to Blade, because he wouldn't have them shoulders, okay, if it wasn't for Blade standing on them 2 feet first. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like Hugh Jackman, Robert Downey Jr. We're seeing the Avengers is like a household name now. All of these things are the new norm, and it's only been the case for the last decade. So let's not try and be brand new about this. But anyway, he's entitled to his opinion. That's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. But what did y'all think about my man Jeremy Allen White and his comments on superhero movies? Do you think he was a little out of pocket? Do you think, hey, it is what it is? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's see. 60 plus, what you got? Euphoria not back until 2025. Is that true? Maybe Zendaya's schedule. It is very possible. That is very possible. Because as I didn't want to get into it too much with the TV show updates, because to be honest with you, it's a long list. There's a long list of TV shows that have been delayed, pushed back all the way to 2025. And at this point, I would just say whatever TV show you was looking for, expect it in 2025. Like, because they're probably going to start production. We're in November right now. Let's not forget, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. Then you got Christmas. Ain't nobody trying to work during them holiday times. Then you got New Year's. So more often than not, you're going to probably see more TV shows and more movies start work all the way in 2024, probably a little after New Year's at that. But there are going to be things that are already in production, or like that were halfway in production, that can start a little bit sooner than that. But yeah, this I wouldn't be surprised if that is true for Euphoria. Um, Jay, what you got? Reacher and Cobra Kai are the only shows that are binge worthy for me. I found most other shows to be a chore to binge through. I mean, that depends on whatever it is that you watching. So I understand that, like everybody got different tastes, but yeah, those are two great shows to do for sure. I currently just finished Monarch. I just finished Monarch on Apple TV. I don't believe it's out yet. But Monarch, um, that's not a bad show. It's not a bad if you like the Godzilla stuff, if you like that's the one time this is the one time I'm gonna give the pass to follow all the humans, because now it's like 80-20, maybe 85-15 humans to Godzilla-ish monster stuff. So that's a pretty decent show. So keep an eye out for Monarch. If you like Kong Skull Island, if you like Godzilla versus Kong, that's a decent show to keep your eye out for. Let's see, Metaphysical, what you got? God bless you. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Right back at you. Really, really appreciate you. Let's see, what is this? So you're not gonna share the link for the sweater with the rest of the class? Oh, come on now. This has always been in the description. Now I don't have it in the description right now. Let me see if where is the hoodie link? I will add it to I'll add it. Hold on. I might have it here. It's usually in the description, but I usually put the description and everything after the show is done. Do I have it here? I think I do. I think I do have it. Let me see. Hoodie. Yep, there it is. Okay. All right. Here you go. I'm about to put it right here in the comments. There you go. All right, so it's in the comments, but it will also be in the description for the replay gang. If you like, you too can get you some fun little E-Man merch right there. Thank you so much. Let's see. Lamar, I can respect that man's audacity. Yeah, listen, if that's how you want to roll, cool. Just stand by it, right? If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And I guess, I think he's coming from a more old school perspective, like he's not one of like those new actors that just will do whatever. So, he's probably that kind of guy that will be more willing to do a low budget movie, but it's something that speaks to him rather than let me go do this movie that's going to be a big blockbuster hit. So, and that's fine. That's fine. All right. Let's move on. What else do we have here? Oh, okay. So now we went through the TV updates, and we went through the strike, but we do have some movie updates. So as I mentioned, a lot of different things because of the strike are going to be affected, right? Keep in mind this strike took 118 days, which means that you have a lot of things that production got delayed or interrupted, or just never could start. So now a lot of things are going to get kickstarted, or they're going to resume. And we have a list of a couple things here that we can look forward to. So first off, let's see, we got Deadpool 3. That one is going to go back and start up production. I believe Ryan Reynolds said that they are probably going to start maybe before Thanksgiving. So maybe within the next week or two, they will get back to shooting that. Before the strike ended, they were already in production. So, we just have to wait and see. But it sounds like they have a majority of it already done. Oh, they said it's about 50% complete. So that's a good sign. Gladiator 2 by Ridley Scott. That one's going to go back into production. Beetlejuice 2, that had stopped during the strike, that's going back. Clint Eastwood's supposed last movie is going to be going back into production, called The Juror Number 2. Apparently, Venom 3 is still happening. Yeah. Anywho, Tron 3 is going to be starting back up. That's going to be in 2024. I did not even remember that was a thing. But okay. There's going to be a Minecraft movie, and it's going to have Jason Momoa in it. Then you also have Mortal Kombat 2. That one is supposed to start sometime in November. So they're going to get working on that. We got James Gunn's Superman Legacy. That one is going to look to start shooting in March, and it's going to try to do a June 11th, 2025 release. Then for the Batman movie, that's Brave and the Bold. Unfortunately, Andy Muschietti is still attached to that. But it says that the pick is still in the early process, with the director now on the It prequel, which is the Max series called Welcome to Derry. And then, of course, we also have Beyond the Spider-Verse. Now the voice actors, or all the actors, can go in and go do their voice recordings to keep going with that one. It says, one thing is certain: the 2024 calendar needs product. And the faster these movies come together, the more consistent the supply of big theatrical releases will be. So in other words, they need to get to work. Everybody needs to get to work. They need to put out movies, because right now, 2024 ain't looking that hot. Like, if y'all just look at the next 2 months of upcoming movies, I don't even know if they're all that exciting. I mean, did y'all know that there was a Hunger Games movie coming out? I completely forgot that a Hunger Games movie was coming out. And Aquaman is still coming out. Did y'all remember that? I forgot about that too. Oh, wait, did that get delayed? I don't even care. I don't even care. 2024 is probably going to be a dry patch where I think we are going to have to deal more with TVs than big movies. But 2025, 2025 finna be lit. I mean, we about to be in them theater seats, wearing them seats out. Okay. The 2025, we will talk about what's coming up later. The 2025 is looking prime right now. A lot of things that should have came out last year now gonna come out in 2024. But man, 2025 is gonna be something. That is gonna be something. What else do we have? We have some other movie updates. I don't know how much y'all care about this, but apparently we're getting a live action Zelda movie that is now officially in development. It says Nintendo has announced a live action Zelda movie is officially in development. The upcoming film will be directed by Wes Ball. That was the guy that did the Maze Runner movie, which I like the Maze Runner, but I believe this dude also did the Jurassic World movies. Oh, so who knows what that's gonna do? I'll be honest, I never really played Zelda like that. I was too busy playing Mario. Do y'all want a Zelda movie? Like, because to me it kind of sounds like a similar premise. It sounds like a similar premise to the Mario movies. You know, like Princess is in danger, and Link has to go and save him. Like, is that the same? I don't know. I don't know. Oh wait, hold on, let me see. Did he not do those? Hold on. Oh, maybe he didn't do those movies. Oh, hold on. Let me correct myself. Let me correct. Oh, okay. So maybe he didn't do the Jurassic World. Oh, maybe I'm getting them confused. So this Wes Ball guy, let's see, he did, I don't know what these shorts are. He did Maze Runner. Oh, and he did two. Oh, he did all the Maze Runners. Yo, I like the Maze Runner. I like 1 and 2. I really like 1 and 2. 3, not so much. Okay, so he did that. I don't know what Mouse Guard is. He's doing Zelda, and he's doing the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Okay. Okay. All right. Then I'm interested. All right, cool. But Zelda, I saw people already talking about Tom Holland. If y'all don't leave this man alone, just because he's short and look like an elf, don't mean that he got to play every role for a short elf. Y'all can find somebody else to play Link. It ain't got to be Tom Holland. Leave him alone. But if y'all are excited for a Zelda movie, let me know. I'm not too familiar with the lore. I'm not too familiar with the background story or whatever. But I don't know. Oh, and I also heard that people were mad that there was a possibility that they might actually cast somebody not white to play Link. Do you think that would be a good idea? I don't know. What else? There's another movie here that I know y'all been waiting for. Y'all cannot wait for this. But Barry Jenkins' Mufasa, The Lion King, has also been delayed to December 20th, 2024. Because the last thing we need is, another Lion King movie with Mufasa. But anyway, what do y'all think about these movie updates? Are you looking forward to any of these? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Let's see. Jay, what you got? Man, what is going on? I want the Monsterverse to do a Titan team up. Okay. And I'd like to see them face off against a monster from real life, ancient mythology, Greek or Norse. So you want Godzilla to fight the Kraken? Maybe, like that. Listen, I'm down for all of that. I've always been down for the Titan on Titan wars. Okay. Like when Godzilla teamed up with Kong against what was that? Mithra or whatever the monster was. I thought that was great. I thought it was great. So I'm here for it. Cannot wait. But yeah, I am definitely excited for that. Thank you so much, Jay. Let's see, Lamar, what's going on? Zelda could be good depending on how they play it. Now that Ghost of Tsushima movie has to be lit because of the game. So yeah, I listen. I don't know. I mean, the Mario Brothers movie, that one did pretty well. So maybe they can look at that formula and see what happens with it. Because to me, Mario and Zelda look the same from an outsider's perspective. I don't know, I haven't played it, but from an outsider's perspective, they look very similar in terms of the concept. But we'll have to wait and see. Anthony, we haven't gotten there yet, so we're not going to jump the gun. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But thank you so much for the support. Oh man, I messed up. There was one more movie update that we have. Do we have to talk about this? I guess. Okay. I look. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. I don't. you know, I try to make sure that there are certain individuals in this world that are controversial or people get all political about and stuff like that. And if I can avoid them, I will. Right? I'm not that guy to go looking for that kind of stuff. Right? I did not want to have to talk about Elon Musk on this channel. Like it's just for no reason. I've been very critical of how Elon's been handling Twitter. I don't know why he is trying to self-sabotage it, but that's a whole nother discussion. But now apparently he done crossed the line. Now I have to talk about it because an Elon Musk biopic is now in the works at A24 with Darren Aronofsky set to direct. Why this is happening, I have no idea. Sources tell Variety that there was a heated competition to option Isaacson's book from studios and filmmakers alike, with A24 winning the bidding war. And Darren Aronofsky, he was the guy that gave you Requiem from a Dream, good movie, Black Swan, good movie, and Mother, meh. Um, I, I just, for those of y'all that don't know, Elon is the guy that he gave us PayPal. Great. He brought back space exploration with SpaceX. Um, he's the guy behind Tesla. You know, when you think of Tesla, you think of Elon Musk. In my opinion, this is way too premature. I don't even think he should have had a book written about himself yet. I don't know why a movie needs to be made about him when he's still alive. He's still like not close to being, old and dead. To me, this feels unnecessary because we don't know where Elon's life is going to go that would require a biopic. Like, is this just going to be a biopic part one? And then we have to wait for part two? Because honestly, I really don't feel like checking for Elon like that. But when you have these biopics made in such a contemporary fashion, I get the feeling that there's going to be too much room for bias, right? Because are we really sure that Darren is going to depict him in a true light? Are we really going to sit here and act like Elon's not going to have a hand in this in any way? I don't know. I don't like this. And it's not just because it's Elon. I don't like it for anybody. Like, to me, even if you were to do um a biopic on LeBron James, right? Yes, LeBron James is historic. He's legendary for sure, but his career is not over yet, right? And we don't know what LeBron's going to do after basketball. So to me, it would be premature to do a biopic on someone like LeBron or on somebody who's like still in their prime, you know. So I'm not really down for this. I think this is ridiculous. This feels ego driven in some way. But whatever. Are y'all gonna go watch the Elon Musk biopic when it drops? Um, Let me know if you even care about it. Let me know in the comments down below because I'm not gonna be checking for this like at all. Jay, what you got? I was thinking the world serpent from Norse mythology. Interesting. I don't think Godzilla, Kong, etc. Have faced off against mythology monsters before. That is not bad. Like, I think that you would need to still make whatever those creatures part of um the Titan mythology, because the monsterverse stuff, they have their own type of unique monsters or titans. So in Monarch, for example, you will, because Monarch is all about researching all this stuff, you will see how diverse some of these things can be. So I wouldn't be opposed if there was a unique Titan that inspired some of the Norse or Greek mythology monsters or whatever. That would be cool. But what I would like to see if they go this route is like, yeah, maybe we look at the Loch Ness monster, but this Loch Ness monster can breathe fire, or shoot electricity or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still got to have some sort of monster verse twist. So I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Thank you so much, Jay, for that. Let's see, Lamar, what you got here? Nah, they definitely should play Zelda straight. The story gets real. Oh, okay. All right, cool. I'll take your word for it. And hopefully they get it right. That's the only thing we really can hope for. Thank you so much. Howard, what you got? It's all ego driven. The idea of an Elon Musk is more interesting than the clown that exists in our reality. He really thinks he's Tony Stark. Listen, little money, little power makes people think a lot of different things, So I don't know. Somebody's gonna want to watch this. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay to see, and I don't want anybody to have to pay for it. Why would somebody need to pay for a billionaire's movie? But Elon should pay for it and leave that up to people whether they watch it. Listen, Elon should take that movie, pay for it, and drop it on Twitter for the free. And people could just sit here and go on Twitter if they want to and watch that movie. Do that. Do that. Let's see. Jay, what you got again here? I was thinking exactly what you were saying about certain monsters influence real life mythology with the monsterverse. That's because great minds think alike, and we on the same page. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. You said drop it on Tubi. That would be great. That would be great. All right, let's move on. We have this here. Because all right, we've talked about how Zack Snyder has had a lot of controversy and talk, wherever he goes, whether it's with DC, whether it's with Netflix, whatever the case. Zack Snyder is always good for doing the most. I'll say that, for doing the most. I mean, we've had the whole, he's had his issues with DC and Warner Brothers. He's had his issues with the fan base. Doing, I would say, not always great things in his name, for example, or for the sake of his creations. But one thing that I have been very supportive of for Zack Snyder is his whole deal with Netflix. And Netflix was like, look, come on over. You can do this Rebel Moon thing and we can, go ahead. They're giving him the green light. That's great. That is great. Because I've always said that Zack Snyder, I think, is very creative and he works best when he's working with properties that don't come with expectations. And what I mean by that is, I don't think Zack Snyder does very well because he's so imaginative when it comes to a property that everybody else already has a preconceived idea about. We don't want Zack Snyder sitting here turning Superman into something completely opposite of what the general public has perceived him to be, for example. But if Zack Snyder sits here and gives us 300, something with Spartans that we didn't really think about, that could be gold, right? And I mean, by the way, I love 300. So the fact that he wants to do Rebel Moon, that's great. All power to him. Cannot wait. However, Zack Snyder, when he first got the opportunity to do Rebel Moon, he wanted to do like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour movie. And Netflix was like, nah, we're not doing all that. That's too long. And he was like, all right, well, how about if I break it up into 2 movies? Okay. Part 1, part 2. Okay. Netflix was like, cool, you can rock with that. But now Zack Snyder's doing even more. He's doing even more. So not only are you getting 2 movies with Rebel Moon, but now Zack Snyder said, man, this stuff's so deep, I got to make an animated series on top of that. Another one. He says here in this quote, in the interview, I'm the gatekeeper for what's possible. I'm the only one who knows where the whole story is going, and I do have it mapped all the way. We're doing a narrative podcast and an animated comic book and an animated series. They all take place before the events of the movie, so you can start to understand the vastness of the mythology that we've been working on. Whew. Wow. This man said he want to do a comic book. Okay, no big deal. You going to do a podcast? Everybody got a podcast, apparently. And you want to do an animated series? Rebel Moon ain't even come out yet. It's not even out. What's going to happen if Rebel Moon sucks? What happens if it sucks? Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love his initiative. I love that he has the fortitude and the creativity to come up with like these very, very deep concepts. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying from a business standpoint, you don't feel like you putting too many eggs in one basket? That's not proven. It's not tested. You have no idea if people gonna like this or not. But what I'm cautious about here and what he's doing, and this might be a marketing thing on his part. I feel like this is a silent dog whistle. I feel like this is a silent dog whistle to his deep, hardcore fans. Where if Rebel Moon is, let's say, a flop, let's say nobody watches Rebel Moon, I don't want us to go back with the fan base sitting here, release the moon cuts, release the anime series, and release all this other stuff just because Zack Snyder is promising ahead of time that there's more stuff. Because if there's more stuff, but the demand is not that high, I don't want this fan base to make it seem like the demand is high, but then it's not. And then the studio's like, nah, nobody's actually watching. But then they're going to be all loud on the internet. And then when they loud and then they don't watch, then the money is, it's just going to be messy. I just don't want this to get messy again. And I'm not rooting against Zack Snyder. I'm not saying that his stuff is going to fail. I'm just saying, can we wait? Can we at least see the first product first? Before you start, like, this is the type of stuff you should be saying the moment, I don't know, Rebel Moon comes out and it's number one on Netflix. Bam. Now you could come out and be like, man, we got a podcast. Man, we got an anime series. Man, we got comic books. We coming to support what y'all like. This just feels very premature. It feels very premature. But I did tell y'all, Zack Snyder do the most. I told you this. Zack Snyder also, in case you did not know, he also did Army of the Dead. And I actually liked Army of the Dead, you know, with Batista in there and all that. I don't know why, I don't know how, but apparently Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon will be connected in one way, shape, or form. Says here, Army of the Dead has a pretty vast mythology that never made it into the movie. And there's actually a character from Rebel Moon in the Army of the Dead animated series that we never did. In other words, Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon will share a common universe. This feels like too much too fast. Now you want to have a whole universe. Something to be restored if it doesn't pan out. I just don't want a repeat. That's all. I don't want people now, you know, harassing Netflix because a potentially failed product doesn't pan out. If it's successful, that's great. If it's successful, cool, all full steam ahead. Fine. But I'm just saying. Now if you're wondering how they connect, I mean, if I recall from Army of the Dead, they were obviously killing zombies and stuff. But if you notice, when they were killing one of the zombies, there was like some blue lights that were coming from one of the zombies, which kind of gave the implication that I guess some of the zombies were robots or something. So maybe that's where Rebel Moon comes into play. I don't know. I just don't care. It's just so much. But maybe we spoke too soon. You know, I'm just sharing the news as it came out. Maybe I spoke too soon. So the same way Zack Snyder might have jumped the gun by talking about a comic book and a podcast and an anime series and all that. Yeah, that animated series ain't happening. It already got pre-canceled. Damn. Just like that. Grand opening, grand closing. According to Zack Snyder, it says here the filmmaker confirmed that Army of the Dead Las Vegas A planned animated series will not be happening after all. He said, we did all the scripts and the animatics, and all the voices are recorded. So you can watch it even in its crazy animatic form. You can watch the whole run. How you gonna get pre-canceled and you still talking about all this stuff that you got? Because again, this feels like, it sounds like dog whistling by saying like, dang man, we about to have us animated series, y'all, canceled. Dang, it's already canceled. Too bad, because I got the pre-cut already cut. Yup, everything's already done. This sounds like the Snyder cut all over again. Literally all over again. You got the script done. You got most of the animal stuff, the animal animated stuff done, and all you just need is maybe some more time, a little bit more money, and then you could release the animated cut. Like, come on, man. Why you do this? Why? How about this? Cut it out. How about that? Lord Jesus, I just don't understand why this man be doing so much. Anyway, what do y'all think about all this stuff with Zack Snyder? Does this get you excited for Rebel Moon? Are you looking forward to the pre-canceled, unreleased, that needs to be restored animated series? Are y'all gonna be listening to his podcast? Are you gonna check out his comic book? Are you interested in the Rebel Moon verse? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Inevitable One, what you got here? Thank you so much. Didn't they make a biopic on Meta Monster Mark Zuckerberg? Have you seen the trailer for The Last Airbender? Yes, they did The Social Network. But I do believe that they're also, so I don't think this, I mean, I guess The Social Network was a good movie too. So I guess you can kind of get away with it. They're talking about doing a part 2 to that. So that's kind of like what I also mentioned, right? I was like, if you're gonna do this Elon Musk thing, are you gonna do a part 2 as well? Because he's still got a whole chapter of his life still, to go. So we'll see. I have not watched The Last Airbender trailer. I've seen the images, I've seen the screen grabs from it. It looks good. It looks crisp. It looks clear. The VFX looks solid. But I've been scarred before with Last Airbender. Do y'all remember the trailer from the last Airbender trailer? Like the movie that was terrible. The trailer looked good then too. So for me, I'm gonna wait, watch the movie, and then I'll see, I'll judge that. I'm not going off them trailers no more. I've been scarred too long, too many times before. But I will say that it does look good in that way. So we'll have to wait and see. Angel right there. I mean, they made a Facebook movie, so it may work. Yes, you're right on that. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. It's not a guaranteed thing that it's gonna fail at all. Let's see. Oh, Sharon, thank you so much. Happy Veterans Day to all those who served and are serving in the military. Thank you, E-Man, for all you do. Thank you so much. Is today Veterans Day? Did I just not know? Hold on. I didn't know. Is it today? Hey, it's tomorrow. Okay, I was about to say, like, I didn't get the notification or nothing, but yes, hey, shout out to all the veterans out there. Thank you guys for serving, for doing what you do. Really, really appreciate y'all. I've always got a soft spot for people that could serve, because y'all have way more courage to do things that I can't do. So thank you guys for putting your lives on the line, for dedicating your life and time to serving the country, serving the people. We appreciate all of y'all. Sharon, thank you so much for your constant support. I always appreciate you specifically. Thank you as well. Let's see. Let's see. Puma, what you got here? Thank you so much. Just got out the Marvels. It was Beast. I wouldn't say that. And Loki's stuck the landing. I'm assuming you meant that. But thank you so much. Appreciate you. Let's see. What else do we have here? Um, all right, let's go to oh, okay. Do y'all remember um the Variety article? So in the Variety article that we kind of went through, one thing that they mentioned was the director for the Marvels, Nia DaCosta, right? And they had talked about how she left production, and a lot of people were sitting here like, oh, because she left production, that she abandoned the movie, and a lot of people was trying to trash on her online, saying that, like, and even the article kind of put this out there. The article was kind of like, that doesn't happen. Like, who would do something like that? Well, time out, because right now what y'all doing is not very fair. Not y'all, but like the tabloids and all of that. In the movie industry, there is the way to work on a movie and not actually be on set. It's called technology. It's called Zoom. It's called the internet. Okay. And even before that, Steven Spielberg did it before too. My man went from one project to go work on another. Just recently, James Gunn did it too. He sat here, he had to work on his stuff with Marvel, but then he had to go work on his stuff with DC. Joss Whedon did it as well, where I think it was during Avengers, and then he had to like go work on something else at the same time. Directors will go from one project to another and work on both at the same time. So anyway, while people were trying to drag Nia and trying to make her seem as though she was doing something so foul, even though multiple directors do this on a regular basis, she had been interviewed and kind of cleared the air here during during all this talk. It says Nia DaCosta debunks Variety's claims of her leaving the Marvels during post-production, saying that she stayed on the film as long as she possibly could before starting her next film, which she was contractually obligated to do. She said here in the interview, by the time I left to start prep on my next film, everyone was so clear about what the film was, what we wanted. It really wasn't this dramatic sort of thing people are thinking it is. In other words, a lot of folks just don't know how movies are made. So when they hear these things, they will overreact to it because y'all don't really know the process. And we had just talked about how Nia had I guess a bit of a revelation on how much control she doesn't really have as a director on the Marvel movies. Because at the end of the day, don't really matter who it is all the time. It's a Kevin Feige production. So you can make your movie however you want, however you think it's going to go. But Kevin Feige going to come in and work on that in the post editing and mix this, switch that, do this, reshoot that. Like, that's his movie. He's the guy that's really in charge. When we sit here and talk about studio interference, that's Kevin Feige. Now, most of the time, Kevin Feige's studio interference works for the better, but when them movies are trash, that's also Kevin Feige as well, whether he's actively participated in it or not participated, because the buck stops with him. So either way, Nia basically said that, like, because of the contractual delays with the Marvels, because keep in mind, Ms. Marvel got pushed back, it got switched on the calendar, all of that stuff. It basically caused her other obligations to get caught up, and she couldn't like just skip out on her other contract. And Marvel fully knew about that as well, which is why Marvel didn't like fire her. Marvel didn't reprimand her. They just went ahead and finished the movie, and she zoomed in, called in, and she didn't have to do very much because they already knew what she wanted. So anyway, I'm glad the sister was able to clear up her name in this. I didn't really like the fact that people online were trying to drag her and trying to make her seem like she was just some delinquent, irresponsible director. No, she was doing exactly what she needed to do. She did what she was contractually obligated to do, and she was doing what Marvel was fully okay with as well. So anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about the Nia DaCosta news? Do you like the fact that she said something? Do you have maybe different opinions on it? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's go. Angel, what you got? Oh my god, the last Airbender trailer is lit. It gave me chills. So detailed and so far accurate to the cartoon and comics. I sent you a link on X. Oh, okay. I'll have to go check that out. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Ism, what you got? E-Man, do you think we're ever going to get Adam Brashear, Blue Marvel in the MCU? If so, how do they do it? Bless up to you and the fam. I thought Ms. Marvel would have been the best way, the easiest way to do it. My guess is that Marvel probably doesn't know how to bring him in. I don't think that, like, and the sad thing is, Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel, this is the time to bring him in. When you're talking about a guy who's ridiculously smart. I mean, he's giving Reed Richards a run for his money, right? And when it comes to the multiverse and stuff, Adam Brashear is the guy. I mean, he led the Ultimates, him, T'Challa, America Chavez, Photon, that group, they are really there to handle multiverse level threats. Okay. For them, oh, this Kang thing, that's a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? So either Marvel doesn't know how to bring him in, because I'm shocked that they wouldn't for this, because this is his bread and butter. Or they could be saving him for something else later. I, you know, thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, we thought there was a great opportunity for him to show up in WandaVision, with the whole I have an engineer friend. Monica, the only engineer friend that you booed up with is Blue Marvel. Like, that was a perfect little segue right there. So I don't know. I think right now we have to really temper expectations with Marvel, because they have big ideas, but they have so many ideas that if they go with one thing, that means something else gets cut off, or something doesn't get pursued. So yeah, I think they just have the curse of having too much on their plate, and they don't know what to do with all that food. I think that's what it really is. JM, what you got? Nia DaCosta is a young director with a bright future. This is facts. I mean, she's only like in her early 30s or something like that. I am really looking forward to more of her projects, more things that she will do. I'm interested to see her trajectory as a director. I want to see what, where she goes. Her experience in the Marvels. I want to see, like, okay, you saw what it was like when you didn't have as much control. What happens when you made Candyman? Now you did the Marvels. What's this next thing you're gonna do? What did you learn? What do you pick up? That's something I'm interested in seeing in her growth and development, and I think she has a bright future as well. Let's see. Those two bad scenes from the Marvels is Feige's fault. Yes, they are. Yeah, no question about it. Like, if Kevin Feige can get all the praise for all the dope stuff that the MCU has done, he's got to take the criticism for all the wacky stuff and the dumb stuff that they do as well. It's the good and the bad, Now, the hope is that you just have more good than you do bad. And I think that when you really step back and look at the, 15 plus years, there's way more good than there is bad. But we like to focus on the negative because we expect good. Like that's just something I think in human nature. Once we see good stuff, we expect it, and good is boring, right? Like there's nothing interesting about good. You go to the movies, if you had 50 million Infinity Wars, you'd be like, yes, you better give me those Infinity War level movies. That's what I want. But the second you tank, the second you go bad, man, just like drama sells, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So anyway, um let's see. I think we have gotten that down. Let's move on. Yeah, we got a little bit more Marvel, a little bit more. So looks like here that Marvel is making some moves. And this was something that I kind of told y'all about before. That it's always I've always thought that when it comes to Marvel, what I respect about them the most is the fact that unlike other studios, Marvel is willing to change direction or do something different, you know? And that to me is something that I can always respect from any studio. And Marvel does that. When they mess up, they do something different. They pivot, they try something new. And it looks like we are going to get something new from Marvel. And it was kind of talked about with Echo, the new series that's coming out on Hulu. But now it looks like Marvel's making this more official after the Marvels, and that is going to be Marvel Spotlight. And this is coming from Brad Winderbaum, one of the top execs for Marvel. He says he's the head of streaming. He said here that Marvel Spotlight is going to give us a platform to bring more grounded, character-driven stories to the screen. And in the case of Echo, focusing on street-level stakes over larger MCU continuity. Just like the comic fans didn't need to read Avengers or Fantastic Four to enjoy a Ghost Rider Spotlight comic, our audience doesn't need to have seen other Marvel series to understand what's happening in Echo's story. Good. I like this. This is exactly what Marvel needed. And the reason why they needed this is because right now, after phase four, I think one of the biggest problems with Marvel right now is that we have been bombarded with too much stuff too fast. There's been a huge oversaturation of just content and information. And unfortunately, unlike in phase 1 through 3, we used to have a common thread that was easy to follow. We used to, in phase 1, it was easy. We were getting introduced to Thor, to Captain America, to Iron Man, to Hawkeye, to the Hulk or whatever, and it was leading to the Avengers. That was fine. And then after phase 2 and going into phase 3, we started to realize, we opening this up, but we're leading up to Thanos, right? And it was easy to follow because you only had maybe 2-3 movies in a year and you could digest it. The post-credit scenes connected. All of that was easy for us to digest. Then came the pandemic. Then came phase 4, where it was kind of like, all right, we know that you used to only eating 3 meals, but we about to give you 17. Okay, you gonna eat these movies. They not gonna be good. Then you're gonna take these TV shows. Some of them are gonna be good. Some of them might not be. And on top of that, some of these shows, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, might not have any real connectivity to anything else. I mean, you can watch Moon Knight right now, and it has zero to do with the multiverse or incursions or Kang or anything like that. What was the point? Why did we have to sit here and watch that? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like Marvel has been kind of poking us and pushing us in all these different directions. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you. I'm tired. I'm like, look, why did I need to learn about the gods and the deities and all that stuff when y'all not even talking about gods and deities, even though you could have with Thor 4, but you dropped the ball with that. But then now you talk about multiverse stuff over here. Then you got Doctor Strange talking about different universes. And I'm like, wait, is the multiverse in different dimensions? Is that the same thing? Is the incursion the same thing as the Kang warfare that's coming to? It's a lot. It's a lot. So now that they're doing Spotlight, the fact that you could just walk into Echo and you don't have to know what happened in Moon Knight. You don't have to know what happened in Ms. Marvel. You don't have to know what happened in anything else. And you could just walk into it and just like that. I'm good with that. Now, here's what I would hope. If I were in Marvel's board meetings, if I were, the executive for Marvel, this is what I would tell them right here, right now. Yes, I'm giving away free information. I get it, but I don't care because I'd rather this actually happen than not. I would literally tell them, look, y'all need to kind of go back to the basics and you need to separate all this stuff. Make the movies the only thing that connect to each other. Make the Disney Plus series the only things that connect to each other. Make the Spotlight stuff, make it gritty, make it mature, and let those things connect. In other words, if all you did was watch Echo, Daredevil, Punisher, things of that nature, maybe even Blade, whatever, you watch them on that level and they connect on their own. Very similar to, let's say, how the Arrowverse connected within its own area, right? Then you go ahead and look at the Disney Plus series stuff, the stuff that's streaming. You go up a notch. The Disney Plus stuff, whether it's Loki, whether it's Ms. Marvel Part 2 or She-Hulk 2, whatever, the Disney Plus stuff, let that live in its own ecosystem. Yes, they can connect, but they don't interfere with Spotlight. Spotlight is its own little universe. It's still in the MCU, but it's in its own level. Disney Plus on its own level. The movies on their own level. But here's the kicker. What you do is in the movies, and I'm saying you got to wait every 5 years or so, let time breathe. That's when you will introduce and sprinkle in some of the Disney Plus in the movies, some of the TV in the movies. Why? Because you'll have the TV stuff build up over time. And when it builds up over time, audiences will have a special connection with those individual TV series characters. So when they are introduced in the movies, you can feel some type of way that it feels earned and not just rushed, as in like, wait a minute, who is that? Who is this random person you just threw into this movie? I didn't have time to go watch their series. Didn't nobody go watch Hawkeye? Didn't nobody go watch that thing on She-Hulk? Who is this person? But if you let the TV shows cook, you let them marinate, now you can bring it all together in a fantastic dish, okay? You don't have to let them touch, but you can put them on the same dish and you can have a good time. And if you really want to be special about it, have little individual movies, just like little specials, kind of like how Netflix did. Netflix had a very good formula. You had Daredevil, you had Punisher, you had Jessica Jones, you had Iron Fist, but they gave us the Defenders. And the Defenders had nothing to do with some big Marvel movie or nothing. It was just its own little thing. So if Marvel goes into these isolated type of things, I think that would be a great way to move forward, just like with Spotlight moving forward. And I think that would definitely help the MCU overall. Anyway, what do you guys think about Marvel Spotlight giving you the more gritty street level stuff? Maybe you get Ghost Rider. Maybe you're going to get some more Daredevil. I don't know. Whatever it is, let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right. Okay, I'm not gonna address that. I don't care. Okay, let's get to some better news here. Oh, now y'all know I love me some Blade, and I think that we've been getting more good news so far, that Marvel is finally starting to turn a leaf. Like we've heard all the nonsense of the boo-boo scripts. We've heard all the nonsense with the directors, leaving the project early and all that stuff, and Mahershala Ali not being happy. And then, man, the rumor mill started coming out that, hey, Kevin Feige done raised his voice. Nobody even knew this man could raise his voice. And he done fired folks, got rid of people, put the right people in the right places. Mahershala supposedly, I'm assuming, is happy now. But y'all, couldn't be no more better news than the fact that we finally got confirmation from the director that Blade is going to be rated R. Oh, this right here warms my heart like you have no idea. It says here, according to the director, they gave me the R, which is so important. For Blade, we are going to have fun because Mahershala is such a deep actor. I'm excited to show a kind of ruthlessness, a roughness he has that allows him to walk the earth in a particular way. I love him for that. He's got a dignity and integrity, but there is a ferocity there that he usually keeps under the surface. I want to unleash that and put it on the screen. Listen. Do whatever you got to do. I know some people were saying before that like Blade doesn't have to be rated R. Here's my thing. I'm not saying obviously Blade is not going to be rated R for nudity or, adult sexual stuff. That's not what it's for. It's really for the type of violence and probably the amount of blood that's allowed on screen, right? Because according to the rating system, like once you go past, I don't know, a nosebleed or something, like the amounts of blood is what dictates the R rating. And then of course some swearing and stuff like that. But this gives me much more joy. Now the reason why it does, and in case you did not realize, some people might be like, well, E-Man, the other Blade movies were rated R. What made you think that this wasn't going to be rated R either? Well, that was Kevin Feige. Because it was Kevin Feige that was the one that gave us the impression that we were not going to get a rated R movie, because this was what year was this? This was like 2 years ago. Kevin Feige was the one, when he was talking about Deadpool, he done triggered everybody else by forgetting about Blade. And I got it here, of course, we got the receipts. Kevin Feige said, I think we target everything we're doing for kids and adults. So I think your question is more adult or rated R. Other than Deadpool, which has already established itself as a certain genre and a certain rating that we already said we would not mess with when we started working on Deadpool, which we have. Other than that, we haven't encountered a story or storyline or a character's journey that a PG-13 or the tone or the ratings we've been using to this point has prevented us. In other words, he did not think that even Blade needed to be rated R at the time. I don't know why he thought that, because if you're going to sit here and say that Deadpool was rated R and it's been rated R, so was Blade. Blade was always rated R. All three of them were rated R. So yeah, why wouldn't you keep that same energy with Blade as well? So anyway, it doesn't even matter. Blade is going to be rated R. They're going to let this man do what he do, and that's all that matters to me. I cannot tell you how happy I am for this. Listen, right from the jump, let's just get this clear. Watch parties, it's happening. When Blade drops, I think it was 2 years from now, when Blade drops, watch parties happening. We finna go all out. It's going down, and I cannot wait. I am going to make this prediction, and I'm not gonna, I'll be the first one to say it. I don't care. I don't think it'll make the same money, but I do think that you are going to get similar cultural support for Blade that we got with Black Panther. Now, because it's rated R, I don't think it's going to make that 1.3 billion dollars in the same way. But I do think that you are going to see, especially Black culture, not only, but especially Black culture, come up, turn out for Blade, and I'm gonna be there because I'm gonna be throwing it. I'm gonna buy out that theater. We gonna go in and have a good time with Blade. So that is my prediction. I feel like this movie has been a long time coming. People have been waiting for this. I think we all generally support Mahershala Ali. So I will be there, but will you? So please feel free to let me know your thoughts of Blade's confirmed rating of being rated R in the comments down below. All right. Didier, what you got? Blade should average always been rated R. Glad someone finally figured that out. Yeah, I don't even know why that was up for debate. I don't know why. Matter of fact, was Ghost Rider rated R? Do y'all remember? Let me see. Was Ghost Rider? Uh, I forget if Ghost Rider. No, it was PG-13. I wouldn't mind Ghost Rider being rated R. I mean, you talking about people going to hell, you talking about demons and stuff, but I could see them playing it safe. But I would like to see a rated R Ghost Rider too. Besides, like, you really bringing 13-year-olds to some scary thing, like, why not make it rated R? But anyway, yeah, I'm with you on that 100%, man. Let's see. Yeah, Anthony. Ali is gonna qualify for AARP when Blade 1 comes. See, that breaks my heart because I do think that it's actually true. Like it's sad because I mean, okay, let me see, how old is he now? Herschel Ali as of today. Oh, okay, so he's 49 years old. Okay. I thought he was already in his 50s. But so that means they're going to shoot it. By the time they start shooting it, Ali will be 50. When it comes out, he'll be 51. Listen, start shooting that sequel now. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot Blade 2 back to back to back. Because I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I do not want this man having this movie come out when he's 51. It's successful. We support it. And Marvel's like, oh, y'all like this? We had no idea. Kind of like how they did with Black Panther. Like, yeah, they put the money behind it, but they underestimated the cultural support that the movie was going to get. I'm telling you now, Blade is going to get that cultural push. Okay, people are going to show up for Blade. But I'd hate for them to be like, oh man, the next time we could do a Blade movie's got to be in 2065 and Mahershala is pushing like 62 or something like that. Like, that would be messed up. So I hope that they might as well just hurry up, go shoot both of those movies at the same time, and use his brother while he's here and just go all the way. But thank you so much for that, Anthony. Appreciate you. Let's see. JM, what you got? I'd love to see brother Dr. Voodoo show up in a post-credit scene at the end of Blade. I think the movie cracks over 500 million worldwide. I think 500 million is a very good place to go. And if it's true that they are going to reduce the budget, let's say they do 100 million, maybe less. If it hits 500 mil, that's a win. Like, you're talking about you made 5 times your budget. That's a win. You want that, because that will pretty much guarantee you a sequel at that point. Low investment, high return. Oh, that's money all day. Like, a studio would be foolish not to, you know what I'm saying, like, follow up on that. So I think that is very realistic, and I share it with that. All right. So what else do we have? We have let's move on to the final topic for tonight, which is we got some Marvel delays and Cap might be in trouble. So we talked about right after the actors strike that basically some movies were going to start production and jump and potentially also get delayed. Well, one of the movies that have been delayed is Deadpool 3. Deadpool 3 has already been delayed. However, they're going to start filming before Thanksgiving following the strike. Sean Levy's already said that basically they are 50% done. And that's cool, right? But we have more delays because not only is that delayed, but multiple Marvel films are also being delayed as well. And here's like a general list of them. So we have Deadpool 3, which is now going to be the only MCU movie in 2024. So it's only one. There's only one. But would y'all look at this? Cap 4 2025 during Black History Month at that. Let's see what they do with that. Fantastic Four in the summer of 2025. Just a couple months right after that, Thunderbolts right after. Then Blade got pushed back to November 7th, 2025. Now, let me just say this real quick. Personally, I would have preferred Blade in February, and you could throw Cap some other time. I don't care. I don't know. Throw Cap during Juneteenth or something, whatever. But I told y'all 2025 finna be lit. And that's just Marvel. That's not counting all the other multiple movies that have been delayed into 2025. So listen, I'm looking forward to this. And here's the other thing too. I am very, very okay with the fact that they delayed all this. Some people are like, oh no, they're delaying. I'm like, no, take your time. Because I told y'all a lot of movies like Cap 4, I was worried about Cap 4. Why? I was worried about Cap 4 because it was still a byproduct of the idea sets from the pandemic. So everything that was around the time of Ms. Marvel, Secret Invasion, Guardians, not Guardians, Ant-Man 3, Thor 4, all of those movies were kind of in the same brain wave, during that time. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to see nothing until after those movies are done. And the only movie I have some confidence in is Deadpool 3, mainly because that's Ryan Reynolds. You don't need Kevin Feige to work on Deadpool 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could be that movie where like Kevin Feige could be hands off and it could really be successful. And this would be similar to how James Gunn, he don't need Kevin Feige's help with Guardians of the Galaxy. That's his baby. He knows what he's doing. So like I'm confident in Deadpool 3, but all them other movies, Cap 4, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, Black, y'all take all the time you need to get all the pandemic nonsense, that dust from the pandemic, that phase 4 dumb thinking. Get that out of y'all system and make these movies the way that they need to be made. Okay. Now I am a little nervous. Because whenever you have these movies so close, having 4 movies in 1 year, that's tight. Now let me explain why, even though that might sound good for us, because we getting all these movies, it can be dangerous for the MCU. The reason why is because Marvel, when they get done with a project in the past, during phase 1 through 3, so before streaming came into the conversation, Marvel only had maybe 2 movies a year, maybe 3. In between that time, the movie will come out, and after the movie comes out, it gets praised or it gets knocked, whatever. Marvel had time to recoup, to look back and be like, what worked with Cap 1 or didn't? What worked with Thor 1 or Thor 2? Like, they had time to breathe. They had time to collect themselves. They had time to learn from their mistakes or from their successes, right? But when you have 4 movies back to back to back like that in the same year, you have to think about the fact that you have about 30 to 90 days of a promotional cycle. You got to promote the movie with trailers. You got to get those ticket sales and all that stuff. You have to premiere it. The movie has to come out. You have also the home streaming and all that stuff. You got those 90 days, give or take, to dedicate to that movie. And the second the movie is done, the second that promotional cycle is done, you don't have time to go back and see, hey, did Cap 4 work? Hey, did Fantastic Four, did people actually love it? Hey, what can we do better or worse with Thunderbolts? You don't have that time because you got to jump to the next cycle. You got to jump to the next promotional marketing thing and forget whatever happened before. So that's the only thing I'm a little worried about, because we've already noticed that the reason why Phase 4 was so bad was because Marvel was doing too much too fast. So maybe, and this is a big maybe, maybe they're going to take all of 2024 to figure these things out, but I don't know how far this will go. I'm going to be happy that we're getting multiple things, but I'm just hoping that the quality control does not get lost in the process. That's what I'm hoping. So, we got one other thing. Y'all see here that Cap got delayed. Cap 4 got delayed. It's pushed to Black History Month 2025. We got a rumor that popped up, and the rumor is coming from Jeff Snyder, same guy that gave us the Thunderbolt, Harrison Ford rumor, dropped some other things, pretty reliable insider. He's talking about why Cap really got pushed back. Now, hey, there was a whole strike. Makes sense, right? Maybe y'all got to shoot some things. Maybe you got to do some little stuff. No big deal, right? That ain't apparently the case. So it sounds like here, Captain America, Brave New World will reportedly receive extensive reshoots. Why? It received negative test scores. 3 major sequences will be cut, and the reshoots are going to happen between January to May. You mean to tell me that the Anthony Mackie led movie did not test very well, and y'all have to cut out 3 major sequences? Oh, okay. Color me shocked. I'm very surprised. Who knew? Not me. It's not a good sign. Now, once again, it is not uncommon for movies to get reshoots. That's not uncommon. It's not uncommon that some movies will not have the best test screenings. That's the purpose of test screenings. The whole purpose is to see what you got, and if it works with audiences, that's great. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board. I'm just a little concerned that this thing said 3 major sequences. That means whatever you thought was the bread and butter doesn't work. Usually when they do reshoots, they will do things that will maybe, I don't know, maybe y'all didn't understand this multiverse thing, so we got to add a little something to help people understand. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. Maybe we got to add a little dialogue to help the story flow a little better. But the 3 major sequences? That sounds like y'all about to change the whole tone of the movie. I can see if it was one thing, like, oh man, Ms. Marvel dropped, so now we got to do something extra. We got to do something. I can see that. 3? Listen, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. But I'd be lying to y'all if I told y'all that this was not a red flag for me. And I already told y'all I was very cautious with Cap 4 because that's a byproduct of the Phase 4 nonsense. So I don't know. What do y'all think? these three major sequences can be. How many Hulks did they cut out of this movie? Is it Anthony Mackie's fault? I don't know. Whatever you think, please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Let's see, Anthony. Now we can get to it. Cat 4 was delayed. There you go. There's a joke about I could make about you, but I'm not going to. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Lamar, what you got? Delays gonna make some stiff box office competition. Yeah, that is actually very true. Now there's gonna be a lot of movies that wanted to compete now and they were spaced out to let them breathe, but now it's going to be a problem. Don't be surprised if you start seeing people all of a sudden hating on Marvel all over again because their little movie gets overshadowed with like a big box office movie. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Diddy, what you got? Just say Chapek. It's the Chapek funk. It really is. It really is. I mean, yeah, this is the Chapek era. You know, anything that was decided and brainstormed while Chapek was around, just it ain't it. It ain't it. And the only protection, the only one that can kind of sort of get away with it would be Deadpool. Anthony, E-Man talking about Anthony Mackie's project. Don't be that. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Let's see. Jay, Thor Ragnarok felt like the perfect balance of filmmaker sensibility and a producer oversight. Love and Thunder felt like it was less producer oversight. I think that is absolutely true. They let Taika do a little bit too much. I think they had too much confidence in him. They let him just be too silly, you know, and it just did not work. But at the same time, once again, that's on the producer too. You know, like that's your job. Your job is literally to oversight how these things go, oversee them. So yeah, it goes both ways. But yeah, I think you're right with that assessment. Anthony, see, I'm trying to not troll, but you making it hard. Why you gotta troll? Don't troll. Go work out. Man, ain't you working out? Go work out. Go get another set. You be all right. Jay, might as well reshoot all of Cap 4. I really want somebody, one of those insiders, to let us know what are these major sequences? Like, what exactly do you need to do? Like, were the fight scenes not that good? Are y'all changing the story? Like, I can't wait for the tell-all book because y'all know somebody gonna tell all what the heck messed up and did not work, because this is very, very interesting. JN, another insider flush this rumor scoop out. Cap 4 is solid, but there is way too much stuff in a movie that has a shorter runtime. Didn't I tell y'all? Ooh, can somebody pull? Yeah, okay. Just somebody back me up. Just please back me up. Did I or did I not tell y'all that my suspicion was going to be that because Anthony Mackie has not been a major leading actor on his own, they're going to have to fluff up the movie and put a whole bunch of stuff around him, similar to how Captain America Civil War had to do with Captain America. Because Captain America, the character now, not Chris Evans, but the character, is not very interesting. But the events around Captain America are interesting. So I'm thinking to myself, y'all finna do the same thing with Cap 4. And what have we heard? This Hulk character is confirmed. That Hulk character is confirmed. This Hulk character might come back. Y'all literally heard nothing but reports of Hulk this, Hulk that, all around a Captain America 4 movie. So if this insider is true, it sounds like my other suspicions could also be true. So again, we have to wait and see the movie to see if it works or not. But if it did pan out, I told y'all. But y'all don't listen to me. It's okay. It's fine. Thank you so much. Lamar, it sounds like a lot of Cap 4 is getting reshot. That's what it sounds like. You know, again, we can only go off of these rumors and what's reported. We don't really know, but that is what it sounds like. JN, also an issue with the Israeli superhero. That is also true. I think, wasn't it the I think it was one of the villains, wasn't it? Like one of the villains was Israeli or something like that. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this whole war with Israel, or all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you so much. Now Rabbit, hold on now. The character of Captain America is not very interesting. Like I said, all the stuff around Cap is interesting. Winter Soldier was dope because of the Hydra reveal. We didn't see that coming. Cap just be experiencing stuff. That's very different. That's very different. I'm talking about the individual character himself, solo dolo, is not very interesting. At least not in my opinion. If y'all like him, fine. If y'all like him, fine. And if y'all do, let me know 5 interesting stories with Captain America. Or not even just the stories. Tell me 5 interesting things about Captain America. Because to me, when I think of an interesting character, I'm thinking of someone like Logan. Logan doesn't need any other help from external stuff. Logan is the source of interest. Logan is crazy. Logan has PTSD. Logan is emotionally unstable. Logan will kill all the X-Men and have to deal with that. That's what I'm talking about when I say interesting characters. Yes, comics or movies are fine with me. That's fine. So for me, that's what I'm talking about with the characters. I have not seen that with Cap, mainly because Cap is a very one-dimensional character. He's that straight and blue, red, white, and blue guy. That's it. What you see is what you get. I don't see a lot of depth within Cap's character that makes him all that interesting. Maybe if we do the Hail Hydra reveal, maybe that would be the only other interesting thing. But I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it. What we got? Wait. Okay, we got that. Natalie, what you got? The Mackie hate train never failed. What is this? Okay, you know what? I don't know what other proof y'all need. Y'all be saying I'm hating, but okay. I will wait for y'all to see it. I can't wait for y'all to show up in droves. I know y'all finna go watch Cap 4, 3 times? 4 times? That's what y'all gonna do, right? Okay. Y'all finna give it 4 stars before it even come out, right? Right? Okay. All right. Anthony, the leader is Israeli. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I'm assuming that's the main villain right there. But all right, guys, that is all we have for the news of the week. I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time to be here. But y'all, now it is time. It is time. We have to talk about Loki. Let's go ahead and get that variant in. We got to switch it up. So if you are still hanging around here, and let's just say you have not watched Loki, this would be the time where maybe you want to catch us on the replay. Maybe you want to hurry up and go watch the episode. I done gave y'all 24 hours to go check it out. But now we got to get into the nitty gritty of this Loki finale. So consider that your spoiler alert. Get up out of here. Or if you don't care about spoilers, welcome. I am so happy. I am so happy with this episode. I am so happy with this series. I got a couple theories I got to share with y'all. Okay, I'm gonna try and contain myself so that we can get through the recap, talk about different things, and then we'll talk about it, right? Then we'll talk about it. But let me ask y'all this before we get on, because I do like to read all y'all comments. Did y'all find this episode confusing at all? Because I know they dropped a lot of time travel stuff or whatever. Was there anything confusing in the episode for y'all? And And I'm asking that because I tried to go through my breakdown to maybe try to explain things a little bit easier. So if after we go through the breakdown, if there are still things that are confusing, please feel free to ask me, because I want us all to be on the same page on what Marvel's trying to do. So if you have questions or anything like that, let's see if I address them. If I don't, please bring them up, because I don't want people walking away thinking that this show just didn't do some work, because it did. But all right, let's go ahead. Let me pull up the stuff here. All right, so now, first of all, I told y'all this before. You always have to look at the recap. And the recap that we got was Loki reminding y'all that he was burdened. He is Loki of Asgard, and he was burdened with glorious purpose. Okay. When I tell you, that line gets better and better every time I hear it. Like, I just want to walk around saying I am burdened with glorious purpose. Do you know how talk about some affirmations? Just wake up in the morning and tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I insert your name, am great, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. Woo, wait, that is something to be said. And Loki took that and ran with it. But I've told y'all gotta watch them recaps. Whenever you watching these Loki episodes or whatever, watch the recaps, because every little thing that they tell you is meant to help inform what's going to happen later in that episode. Now, one thing that is true, and we've talked about this, has been the constant theme of the whole Ouroboros thing, right? It's basically the end feeding the beginning, or the beginning feeding the end. It's that whole circular loop that's been going on. And this has been the theme, not only for this season, but from season 1 and even before that. So I'm going to show y'all how, like, not only does this season have constant loops. So season 2 loops into itself. Season 2 loops into season 1, and season 1 and season 2 all loop all the way back to Thor 1. And not only all of that, but they also loop into Norse mythology in a very interesting way as well. So anyway, I've been prepping this a little too much. Let's get into the episode. So my man is burdened with that glorious purpose, okay? And not only that, but we also get reminded of who paved the way for him the entire time. Now, if y'all recall from my last episode, the last video, I told y'all a little theory of mine that my man was still in the woodwork. He was still working. He who remains. And it looks like that did end up being the case to some degree. But anyway, we find Loki, who just time slipped right back into the moment before Victor Timely goes outside. And of course, we saw what happens. My man turned right back into SpaghettiOs. Then Loki, he quickly turns to Obi and asks him, what could they have done better? And Obi was like, look, we just took too long and the radiation got out of control. But this gives Loki the idea to start going back in time to do things a lot faster and more efficiently to try to make up for the time. He even gets to the point where he has to ask Miss Minutes for some help with the multiplier. Now, I don't know why he would ask this crazy AI anything, but Loki was desperate, and it doesn't matter. He tried to do what he could do. But going through so many attempts, trying to account for every situation, really just got frustrating. And when it came to the multiplier, Obi just ended up asking Obi, how long is it going to take? Like, he went through and introduced Victor Timely and all of that. He showed them how all of this stuff was going to work. And he was like, look, Obi, just forget all of this, man. How long is it going to take for you to just show me everything that you know? Let me know everything about time. Let me know everything about, the multiverse. Teach me everything. And Obi was like, all right, cool. I mean, it's probably going to take a couple decades, and Loki was like, man, that's cool. I'm a god. You know where I'm from? I'm from Asgard up in these streets, right? But Victor Timely was like, nah, it's going to take about a couple centuries for you to fully understand, the scientific, astronomical, physiological elements of time travel. And Loki says centuries. Yup, that's right. Centuries later. So it took him hundreds of years to finally understand everything that was in that TVA guidebook and more, for him to finally get what was needed and what was going to happen, to really just expedite this whole process. Okay. But keep in mind, Loki is a god, and these gods live for thousands of years. So it was probably like a couple months for him or something. I don't know. But he had time on his hands, and that was not a problem. Now, since it literally took centuries for him to become an expert on time, he does come back, and now he can guide everybody on the process. He even got it to the point where Victor can go outside without immediately getting shredded up. Victor goes, he puts the multiplier into the machine, but Obi discovered that there was still a problem. The loom continued to overload because the branches keep expanding. And Victor says that this is because the time branches continue to scale by an infinite amount. In other words, the loom is always going to grow. Now, I think, just to kind of help people put this in the to help you think about this, outside of the TVA is every and any potential thing that can happen within time, because that's all raw physical time that's out there. So, in other words, all the infinite possibilities, or all the what ifs, were all out there. So what happened was, the loom, at least the way we understood it, was taking all these infinite things and wrapping it and tying it and twisting it into the perfect sacred timeline. Okay. So Loki was sitting here thinking like, oh, well, if all we got to do is account for that, we just got to make the rings bigger. But you can't make the rings bigger, because the rings eventually are going to stop growing, because the infinite amount of possibilities is infinite. You can't put a number, in other words, you can't put a limit on infinite. If it's going to grow infinitely, there's nothing you can do to stop it. So it was always going to grow. It was always going to overload. It was always going to do that. And this was actually, part of the design, right? So hopefully that makes sense. So this definitely was a bummer. Like, this is not what Loki wanted to hear. He went through all this work for hundreds of years. Now, let's not forget, he studied all this. He went through all these things. And by the way, let me just say, I love the editing that they did with all this time travel, not just with Loki here, but with that we find later on. I love the fact that every time Loki goes through these situations, we don't have to see every single outcome. The fact that he could just show up and say, hey, I knew you were going to say that. Hey, don't drop this. Hey, make sure you do this. Tighten this up. That implies that Loki has been doing this multiple times. And this is not going to be the only time. So I want you to keep that in mind. He does this multiple times without us seeing it, but it's implied that he kind of has been looping for a long time. So that was really good on the directors, I thought, in that regard. So now Loki's like, all right, since that's not going to work, let me go back even further to the past, to when Sylvie was going to kill He Who Remains. Now, he tries to fight her, but of course, Sylvie's just a better fighter, and he just keeps on losing. And he sat here and was like, yo, He Who Remains, you gonna do something? Like, fight back, man, please. What are you doing? You just want to sit there and keep dying? And He Who Remains was like, oh, yeah, that's all good. It's fine. And he stopped her. He stopped Sylvie in her tracks, which means, and that implies, he could have done that at any time. He always could have stopped this. He always could have paused her, but there was a reason why he didn't. And that's something to just kind of keep in mind. And now you see He Who Remains, he asked Loki, how many times have you gone through those scenarios? He even asked him, have you learned how to pause people yet? Have you learned how to pause time? Why? Because he who remains knew about the time slipping. He knew that Loki was going to go down this path because once again, he's the one that paved the way all this time. And he asked Loki a very important question. And the question that I believe we're going to talk about it later. It's going to feed into one of my theories later. But he does confess to Loki that while Loki thought he was beating the system this whole time, this was all according to his plan. Once again, this is kind of what I was talking about, right? In the last video, I told y'all it wouldn't make sense for someone like He Who Remains to not have all of this stuff planned out. His whole purpose, his whole goal has always been not only to prevent his variants and stuff from coming back, but it's self-preservation as well. He was never about to sit here and allow himself to just die, at least not according to his plan. His plan was always to keep the TVA going, to keep himself alive, and to keep his variants out of here to prevent the multiversal war. So, within those plans, he also was always grooming Loki. He knew this Loki was going to be a certain way. He knew that's why he said, "You were always my favorite." He's been through multiple Lokis, but this Loki, this variant Loki, he knew how far he was going to go. Now, there's still a thing that he didn't know, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this was always part of He Who Remains' plan, and it was definitely something that is part of his character. It's part of He Who Remains' nature. All right, let me grab some of these here. Let's see. Inevitable one. Thank you so much. It was like Marvel does Groundhog Day. Kind of. It was kind of like Groundhog Day, but at the same time, it was like Groundhog Day meets Back to the Future meets the butterfly effect. Like if you've seen the butterfly effect, like that's pretty much what he was doing too, but like yes, it's all pretty much very similar to that. Let's see. Tell Doctor Strange there is 14,606 outcomes. Yes, there are more outcomes. I always said that I don't think Doctor Strange really considered everything. He was interrupted. There probably were other outcomes. Let's see. It's Sheed still processing this episode. This is the best series. Need Kang to get exonerated or Jonathan Majors so we can get Loki versus Kang to cook up more of this masterpiece. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but we will kind of sort of see where this goes in the future. All right, I see you kind of jumping ahead, Puma, so we'll wait on that. Kiki. He Who Remains didn't have to go mocking my guy Victor like that. He did not have to. He was like, "Who'd you see, Victor? Timely." Like he didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that. But I mean, is it bad if it's your own variant? Like, it's still you, right? Kind of. I don't know. But thank you so much. Appreciate you with that. Deborah, what you got? Free will. Is He Who Remains downfall with Loki? Yes. No. So we will definitely get to that as well. But free will is a huge component and a very, very important theme that we will get back to, and that does play a vital role when it comes to Loki and He Who Remains, for sure. Very good observation, Deborah. So now after He Who Remains pretty much says like, yo, this is the system, this is the game, this is all according to my plan. Loki was like, I hit that finger and was like, yeah, I know how to pause time, proving that they've had this conversation multiple times. And He Who Remains at that point confesses to Loki that the temporal loom is not about destroying the TVA. It's all about preserving the sacred timeline. The loom is a failsafe in the event that too many branches start to appear. And remember, his sole purpose is to prevent his variants from popping up. That's why the TVA was created. Now, the TVA don't know that, But that's what He Who Remains goal always was. So, in other words, if the TVA ever failed at their job of pruning all the branches, the loom itself would get too big, explode, prune all of the branches except for the sacred timeline. And as He Who Remains said, recreating the TVA is easy. That's not a hard thing to do at all. He can always recreate them. So, but the most important thing was preserving the sacred timeline and keeping his other variants out of this whole equation. Now, he did say that his variants are already out there. We already saw Victor Timely. We saw the Council of Kang in Ant-Man 3, which will come up again. And that there are too many of them. But Loki said that he's determined to find them and stop all of them. And if you noticed, He Who Remains like expression, he was kind of like, yeah, champ, I know you will, you know? And it was almost like, I think this is one of those things because Loki's character is persistent, but Loki's character is persistent almost to a fault. And I think that this is something that we can maybe tie into. Let me see if I have it here. We can probably tie this into Norse mythology. And in Norse mythology, so there are two things, and we'll talk about one of them here. In Norse mythology, Loki is not a good guy, right? Like he's the god of mischief. He does a lot of bad things here and there, gets in trouble, etc. And one thing that happens with Loki is that he gets punished, right? So one of his punishments, I believe he goes to hell, Hel, and one of his punishments was to have like this serpent drip poisonous, like almost acidic venom on him, like for all eternity, right? And the whole thing is that this venom just keeps on hitting him, even though I think his wife tries to like grab it, but every time she empties out the bowl it like refills or something like that. But I want to say in a sense Loki is doomed to to constantly be punished in a way, and not like, I don't want to say like in a sadistic way, but the fact that he's willing to chase all these Kang variants and the fact that these variants will keep coming, especially if you let these branches keep growing, it's almost like a fool's errand. It's almost like, and that's why I was kind of looking at He Who Remains his face, because he was kind of like, man, it's way too many of them out there. And Loki's like, man, whatever, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get all of them. He's like, yeah, okay, buddy. All right, guy, whatever you say, man. And that's what I like about you. But I think that's also, once again, part of why He Who Remains chose this version of Loki, because this version of Loki, it's almost like he's a sucker for punishment. Like, as tough as this job is to be He Who Remains, this Loki is kind of built for it. He's built for doing the job that is thankless, that is tiring, and that is punishing. Because if y'all recall and go back to season 1, episode 6, or the last episode, whichever one it was, when they talked to He Who Remains, and they was like, why do you want to give this up? He was like, man, I'm tired. It's a young man's game. I mean, if that could tire him out, what do you think it's going to go do to Loki, who can obviously live longer? Like that could be something, I think, just to kind of keep in mind. But anyway, let me grab some of these comments. Let's see. Let's see. Shogun, what you say here? I don't know if the loom gets rid of all other timelines. What's the point of doing it yourself? Show was cool, but a bit convoluted, maybe. So the point, according to He Who Remains, is to prevent other Kangs from popping up. So this is the sacred timeline, right? And the sacred timeline, as long as it stays closed like this, then I'm not trying to muff y'all or nothing, but as the sacred timeline stays closed like this, no other Kangs are gonna come up. Now, outside of the sacred timeline, you have the Council of Kangs. All the other Kangs exist outside of here. Now, it is possible that He Who Remains probably tricked all of them to be in one place to show up so that he can isolate them from the sacred timeline. However, when branches start to happen on the sacred timeline, other Kangs can pop up. So the point is to make sure you got all your Kangs over here. So now there's no multiversal war, and you're pruning all the other possible Kangs, like Victor Timely and whoever else, from even existing. And that's what preserves the sacred timeline. So He Who Remains is trying to keep the other Kangs out and prevent any other Kangs coming up. So I don't think it's convoluted per se, but that is his sole mission and his sole purpose for now. Let's see, Tracy, what you got here? Loki spent centuries learning theoretical physics, then spent centuries more learning how to control time, like He Who Remains in his battle with Sylvie. Legend. Listen, this was great. I loved it. Like this right here. If that's not character development, I don't know what is, right? Like you just had this man do all this work and then to come up and meet He Who Remains and be faced with the fact that maybe all this stuff was pointless because He Who Remains was like, man, you did all this work and my variant's still gonna show up. They still gonna be all in your face. You still gonna have a multiversal war anyway, you know. So now, He Who Remains is also feeling pretty confident here. And he's like, look, he's presenting Loki with this dilemma. And he's saying, like, this is the equation that ends up this is where you're going to end up. And he says Loki has to decide to either let Sylvie kill him and let the multiversal war happen, or he's gonna have to kill Sylvie. And Loki is like, and he was like, look, no matter what you do, the equation's gonna stay the same. So Loki looks at it and he's like, yeah, okay, the equation stays the same, but what happens if you change the equation? So if you change the equation, it doesn't matter how you figure it out, you're bound to get a new answer. And when you change the equation and you get a new answer, this is the potential game changer, okay? Because yes, He Who Remains said that if he changes things, the multiversal war will come, his friends are going to die, and all that peace and quiet that they had was all because of He Who Remains. But Loki is like, nah, what you basically gave me was a false dilemma. In other words, while He Who Remains was like, it's got to be either this or that, Loki was like, nah, there's got to be a third option. And he opted for the third option. Now, this is something that has been, I think, proven to be very special about Loki. Loki is the god of mischief, right? The one thing that's always been consistent with Lokis is that they're unpredictable. And even He Who Remains, who thought that he could predict this Loki came up with something else, and maybe this is part of the plan. I don't know, but Loki came up with something like, man, I'm not going to fall for this. I'm going to go ahead and just change up the whole rules of the game. How about I don't even play your game? How about if I play another type of game? And that's pretty much what happened here, where he was like, all right, I know time slipping. I know what I got to do. I'm just going to change it up. So now we see Loki then time skips back to the TVA. And he goes all the way back to season 1 with Mobius. And in this situation, we learn from Mobius a story about a hunter who hesitated from pruning a young boy and got other hunters killed. His partner did prune the kid. And we learned that Mobius was talking about himself as being the one that couldn't do it. And Renslayer was his former partner who was out here killing kids. But Loki is seeking a philosophical question here with Mobius, because he's sitting here asking Mobius the question of like, yo, like, how do you make that decision? how do you know who to kill, when to kill, how to kill? Like, what do you do? And Mobius gives him a pretty, interesting answer. Because at the end of the day, I think that this was more of like a utilitarian question, like, do you do what's best for the many, or do you go the opposite and do whatever's good for the few? And it's almost like the trolley question, right? And the trolley question was always, if you're driving a trolley and you can only kill one person but save five, do you kill that one person? Or maybe you're gonna kill five people, but they're convicts or something, or they're Hitler clones, and you save one person. Do you do that? What do you do? And either way, you still have this dilemma of you're killing people, right? And it's a dilemma, it's a philosophical dilemma of which one do you do, and that's kind of what Loki is put in with this situation. However, Loki also, as we saw later on, he found a third option, which is maybe you don't kill either one. Rather, you stop the trolley by stopping yourself, right? Maybe the sacrifice is the actual third option, right? So anyway, Mobius basically gave him what he needed to hear, to some degree anyway. But then Loki decides to time slip even more and goes back to talk to Sylvie, and she pushes him by saying, who are you to take away people's ability to die trying to save themselves? And she implores to him that people have the right to die fighting. And this touches Loki mainly because you have to remember, Loki was always his argument from the jump, from the very beginning, has been about people they should have the free will to do what they want, and the free will should be protected. Now, at first, he thought he should protect people from their own free will, but now it seems like he's really starting to understand that the burden that comes with free will, and that burden is that not only do you sometimes have to let bad things happen for the sake of the greater good, but sacrifice is also a part of that as well. Whoo, let me tell you something. I wanted to get theological with y'all real quick on that, but I'm not going to go there. That's not where we're going. But I got to say, that is the burden of a God. Okay. Because a lot of people say, man, why do bad things happen? If there's an all powerful God, and we're going to keep it with Loki here, right? If there's an all powerful good God, why do bad things happen? Well, because of free will. Because if you don't have free will, you're slaves. Well, do you want to be slaves? Because that sounds even worse. Okay, well, we're not going to be slaves, but you're going to have the ability to have free will. Well, if you have the ability to have free will, that means that both good things can happen and bad things can happen. And if you prevent either one, free will is taken out of the equation. And we can't have that because we don't want to be slaves. And Loki does not want to enslave people. He wants people to have free will. However, in order for free will to exist, you got to have some sacrifice. You got to give something up, even if you are that God. And that God, even if it's Loki, has to give up something to allow the free will to happen, and maybe to even save the people with free will in that process. Somebody gonna catch that, but I ain't gonna go there. Somebody gonna catch that. Somebody will catch that. But I just love what they were going with this, because again, this goes back to the burden of glorious purpose. The burden here is, this isn't going to be as easy as you think. We'll get into more of the burden later, but this is definitely not going to be that easy. Let's see. Okay, I'll wait on that. I'll wait on some of those questions because I think some of those questions will be answered a little bit later, but we'll get to that. Y'all keep asking these questions to the end. I'm gonna wait to the end to ask them to answer them. So we'll get there later. All right. So now it finally dawns on him that he needs to replace that bad thing with something better. He goes outside and he uses his magic to destroy the temporal loom. Now, remember, the function of this loom is to preserve the sacred timeline, which means with its destruction, Loki now has nothing but raw time all around him. So, again, all of this dead stuff that you see here, this is raw, uncurated time. In other words, it's raw timelines, it's raw possibilities, it's raw universes. All of these things are just there. Okay. You could look to the left, there's the Netflix universe. Look to the right, there's the Sony Marvel universe. Look down there, there's the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel universe. All of these things are just out there with no shape, no form, and they're just hanging around, right? Because there's no loom to shape them and hold them into place. But now, these things are all at Loki's disposal, right? And you see him grabbing onto these things. He's grabbing onto that's a universe, okay? So maybe he just grabbed the 838 or 834. Maybe he just grabbed the Fox universe. Maybe he just grabbed the Sony universe. But whatever it is, he's grabbing all of these universes and he's putting his power into this. Keep in mind, Loki now knows how to control time. He now knows how to control possibilities and all of that, just like He Who Remains. And you see him now fully accepting what comes along with that glorious purpose. And you could see the crack where now he's walking into that citadel that where basically is outside of time, just like He Who Remains. So, in other words, he's pretty much becoming the new He Who Remains. And as he's moving up, you see him grabbing all the tethers of time. He's grabbing all the universes, all the possibilities, all of these branch timelines. He's bringing them all together and he's connecting them together and making them all into one. And what does that mean? Look at what he just did, right? He was right here, and now he's made this. Look how similar this was to the loom. In other words, Loki has now become the new loom. He is the new temporal loom for the entire multiverse at this point, or at least the multiverse that we know of. And of course, because he is from, he's got the Asgardian, mindset and culture. He is going to copy the tree. We remember this tree from Thor, that contained all the 9 realms. Well, now he's taken that tree that contained the 9 realms and basically made it the tree that contains all of the multiverses. So you see the branches are representative of the branch timelines. So now that you see the base is kind of like the sacred timeline, but all the branches of this tree can now fully coexist and they're existing in a different way. So unlike the loom before that had a very narrow, specific way to be refined, Loki changed up the whole configuration to grow like a tree. A tree can't, there's no limitations with a tree. A tree is going to keep growing until it grows, to its content. So this basically is representative of Loki taking all the possibilities, all the universes, and letting them coexist equally. And I thought that this was really dope because I want y'all to really understand what's happening with Loki thematically, because Loki, he wanted to be king in the very beginning. He always wanted to be king, but he never deserved it. But now that he doesn't want to be king, he ends up that way because he realizes the true burden that comes along with being king. Let me throw something else at y'all because I told y'all this season 2 loops season 2, but then it loops season 1, but then it also loops all the way to Thor 1 where we first get Loki. Odin would be proud. Why? Because this is actually what Odin was trying to teach Thor from the very beginning. So, in other words, Loki learned the lesson that Thor didn't learn and why Thor got banished before. Fun fact, now Loki's actually worthy of lifting Mjolnir. Didn't even catch that, did y'all? Didn't even catch. Loki is now worthy of lifting Mjolnir because he understands the burden of being a leader, of being a king, of being someone that has to preserve others before himself. That was always the key of being worthy, putting others before yourself, learning that, because that's what Odin wanted Thor to learn. Thor was all about himself. Loki was all about himself, but now Loki's like, nah, man, this ain't about me. It's about everybody else. There you go. Somebody go clip that. Don't let these other channels let you. I know these other channels ain't give you that nugget. I know nobody gave y'all that nugget now. Okay, this is why y'all here. Okay, this is why y'all here. Come on now. Whoo, let me see. Let me read some of these real quick. See where we going. Derek, let's see. Is Loki the one above all now? If not, why? No, I don't think he is the one above all, because the one above all is basically God. Okay. And I mean God as in there is no other, there is no equal. Like the name says, one above all. Loki is not above everything. Why? Because there are still other Kang variants out there. In other words, there are other Kangs that have probably understood time, manipulated time. They've just done their own thing outside of the sacred timeline. So now that He Who Remains is gone, Loki still has to fight against and prevent those other Kangs from being being a threat. So no, he is not one above all in this case, because there are still threats. There is no threat to one above all. Like the one above all, if you are God, you don't have no competition. Loki does, so he's not one above all in this case. What? Loki looks to the left and sees it's Morbin time. Oh, because he saw more. That was a good one. Okay, I get it. I was like, Morbin time. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yes, that is true. That also counts. The Sony stuff also counts. All right, let me grab some more and then we'll go back through more of these. So now that Loki has gathered all this stuff, notice here the TVA's revolution, the change in the TVA, where even on the monitor, they don't have the same scale anymore, right? Now that it's looking like a now it looks like a tree, and their job has changed. Their function has changed. Why? Because Loki is pretty much, I wouldn't say Loki's running the TVA, but because of what Loki has done for everyone, and clearly they remember, the purpose of the TVA has changed. They're no longer here to prune all of the branches, because now they understand that the branches mean every branch has trillions of lives attached to it. They're not going to be just murdering people just to murder them. And because Loki made this self-sacrifice to literally become the new temporal loom, they're going to do what they can to protect this new tree of this multiverse tree, at this point. But they've also changed up their assignments as well. By the way, how the hell are they sitting here still working with Miss Minutes? Like, y'all just literally gonna sit there. Was like, well, do we know if she gonna kill us or not? They was like, I don't know. Maybe. We don't know. So the fact that they trust in her is still a problem for me. But we also see Mobius, and he was doing a report on He Who Remained variants. In other words, now the TVA is looking for other Kangs. And Hunter B15 did mention, do they know that we exist yet? And so far, it seems as though that they do not know. So the Council of Kangs do not know that the TVA are now looking for other Kang variants to stop them. And of course, we do get this other reference here. You might not be able to see it, but they're showing us what happened with the Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man Quantumania. And they basically said, oh, they took care of him. He's gone. So maybe this is confirmation that Kang is actually dead and gone, or maybe not. Who knows? I do have a video on why that might not be the case. But either way, the TVA is, I think this is giving us a setup for what's to come moving forward. Now, this has a lot of implications. I think what this scene means is that there was a rumor out there, and I think we talked about this, that Deadpool, because Deadpool's been time traveling and stuff back in Deadpool 2, the TVA gonna come for him too. Now, that might not mean that they come to prune him, but there are rumors out there that the TVA is gonna come and recruit him. They're going to recruit maybe him, maybe Wolverine, maybe more X-Men, who knows? But the idea is that the TVA is going to need help in stopping all these other Kangs. Keep in mind, I know a lot of people want to jump to Avengers Secret Wars. Y'all do realize we have Avengers Kang Dynasty first. So we have to deal with whatever Kang is doing to be a dynasty in the first place before we go jump the gun straight off to Secret Wars and having everybody fight against each other or whatever. So I think we're going to have the multiversal war first in Kang Dynasty, and that's where you're going to see maybe Deadpool and all these other people doing whatever they can to like set it up. So if I had to guess, I'd say that Kang Dynasty is probably going to be similar to how Infinity War is, where the bad guy wins, and then Secret Wars might be similar to how Endgame is in terms of, all right, here's the big culmination, here's the big battle, here's all the cameos, and then soft reboot. That's my initial idea with where they're going with this. But anyway, we do see that the TVA is primed to all these Kangs, and they're going after them. Now we move on. We see Mobius gets a new file. He's leaving the TVA apparently. But he does so yes, he is leaving the TVA. And we do also see that the TVA has kind of like changed up a little bit. We see that they are a little bit more cooperative now. It's not as militant. It seems like everybody is working together. My man Obi done got his second edition, his bestseller out there. So good for him with that. What else do we have? Victor Timely. Clearly the book never gets dropped off. So this Victor Timely stays in his own reality and never becomes the next, Kang or whatever. At least not in this reality. So that's a positive to some sort. Then we see Renslayer. Renslayer, she got pruned. Now she's in the void. That pyramid back there, that pyramid, I do believe could be a clue that, remember, Renslayer and Kang, they always have a connection. That could be where Ramatut is. That Ramatut, is the ancient Egyptian version of Kang, so that could be that. And if y'all recall, on the ground, there was a nameplate or whatever of the TVA. So maybe the TVA has been pruned before. Maybe this is a cycle before. And this has me wondering, what are they going to do with Renslayer? Because it looks like she's coming straight up face to face with Elias, right? So right there, I'm like, oh, she dead. Like, she done for it, right? Elias straight up eats realities. But look at her face. Does that look like the face of somebody that's ready to be eaten by a reality eating monster? I don't think so. I don't think so. We'll get to her in a second. I do have a quick theory on her. But we do go back and we see that Mobius ends up going back to the timeline, the sacred timeline, where he sees himself and those bad little future felons that he calls kids. But this was actually pretty cool because Mobius is coming full circle with his character. Remember, he had that pre FOMO, that pre fear of missing out, where he didn't want to know what he was leaving behind. He didn't want to know what his life was like on the sacred timeline, but now he gets to see it. Now he gets to see what the motivation is for him to be in the TVA, and that is to protect those bad little criminal kids from, I don't know, jail time, whatever. So anyway, and I really really love the fact that, you know, both him and Sylvie were here. We don't know where Sylvie's going. We don't know what she's going to do, but keep in mind Sylvie was the one that kind of pushed him to go see what his life was like on the sacred timeline, you know, and there you go. There you have it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then of course we end with like one of the best shots. Loki looking off, and I think he's looking at his friends. I think he's looking at the timelines. I think he's looking at everybody else enjoying themselves because this was the sacrifice that he made. And this is Loki in a nutshell. And before I get to your comments, let me also mention this. I told y'all about the Norse mythology with Loki. There's some irony here because even though Loki is fighting for free will, even though he's literally giving people free will, Loki is still a character locked into fate. In other words, the same way I said Loki was kind of trapped in that punishment thing or whatever, he's a sucker for punishment. Loki's North mythology was that he was always destined to cause cataclysmic situations. So when it comes to Asgard, no matter what Loki does, he's the one that triggers Ragnarok. It's always Loki that causes Ragnarok in Norse mythology. Well, our Loki is still triggering Ragnarok, but for the multiverse. Okay. So his decision, no matter what it is that he's doing, he's the reason why we're going to have a multiversal war. Now, whether we win or not, that's up for debate. That's something we have to figure out. But I love the fact that this whole show maintained the core essence of what makes a Loki. It's pure chaos. Loki creates chaos. That's why Lokis in the void were giving the TVA fits, because no matter what they did, a Loki always survived. And this case, this Loki managed to still survive, but they're also fated not only to create chaos, but to be alone. And how many times have we seen and talked about Loki being alone? They've constantly been talking about that Loki, you're destined to be alone. What was it? Sif, when Sif was doing that time loop, you're gonna be alone. B5, you're a loser, you're gonna be alone, you're gonna let people down, etc. Hey, it all came true. Loki cannot escape his own fate. He can help other people, but he gonna bring that chaos and he gonna be alone. And that makes him a tragic hero. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so here's the other thing. Let me grab some of y'all comments first, and then we'll get into I'll do some of the theories. Okay. Puma, Loki the storyteller. Now do you see why it's my number one? Sure. Now I'm oh no, I'm gonna save that. Nope. I will say that. I'll give y'all something a little fun that I'll save that for the theories. Keep that in mind, the storyteller thing. Keep that in mind. Because I might blow y'all mind with something real soon. Puma, thank you for that. Back at it. Did you notice Loki is the tree of life and Ant-Man B the Kang variant, not the true conqueror, 616 adjacent? The writers and actors did a great job. Yes. So yes, we did. Well, yeah, I mean, all the Kangs are variants. Like I don't think we really met Kang Prime yet, or whoever the main Kang is. Maybe it's He Who Remains. Maybe he was the first one, but they're all variants at this point. So, and it's kind of hard to keep track if we're really being honest, because any Kang you see is pretty much going to be some other variant at some point, because he's a living time paradox anyway. Let's see. Win some. You could really feel Loki's pain and panic that led to his sacrificial choice in the end. His character growth has been astonishing. This is why I don't want y'all to miss what this show just did. This is character development. You had somebody who was an arrogant, egotistical, type of being. Matter of fact, this is Tony Stark. This is the Tony Stark thing all over again, right? Tony Stark started off arrogant, self-centered, and all of that, and he made the sacrificial play. Loki started off arrogant and self-centered, and he made the sacrificial play. But you know what? Even if it's the same thing, I love it because it was a journey for both. It took 10 years with Iron Man to get to that point, and it took not even 2 seasons. It took Thor 1 up to this time to get Loki to get to this point. Man, that is a nice payoff. That feels really, really good, to see all of those changes and stuff with the character, because it makes you feel like all this time that we've been sitting here watching, it meant something. The fact that we could sit here and call back to Odin, and Loki and stuff, the fact that we could sit here and go back to season 1 and all, this is why you sit here and watch all this stuff, right? Shogun, what you got? But if He Who Remains knows the future, how does he not know that Loki is going to change things up? Unless He Who Remains didn't know and is still part of his plan. I think one of my theories might answer that, so hold on to that. But thank you so much for that, because that was a question I had too. So I'm gonna explain one theory, and then you guys can kind of like decide whether there's something important there or not. I don't even know if it's a theory; it's more speculation. But yes, I'm with you on that. So hold that thought. Rhaegar, what you got? Such an unpredictable ending. Very good writing and acting. Didn't think he'd really want to just sit there for all time and hold everything together. This is character development. This is like, didn't nobody pick this? And here's the thing: He Who Remains had been trying to groom him to do this. He was trying to say, like, I want one of y'all to take over, and they didn't want to. And then Loki, slowly but surely, was like, I think I understand. So maybe, but it is what it is for now. Let's see. Elias, the Loki versus Doctor Strange with the same stone. This Loki versus Doctor Strange with the time stone. Well, technically, this Loki would win because the time stone only works within its own universe. So it's like bringing a water gun to a bazooka fight. Like, like it's not even fair. It's not even comparable at this point. So in other words, the time stone only works in the 616 universe, but the 838 time stone only works over there. That's why whenever they brought those infinity stones into the TVA, they did not work, because it wouldn't make sense for them to work. The time stones are a byproduct of whatever that universe is. In other words, what makes up the time stone is 616 stuff, right? The time stone that we have, it's the 616 essence of time. You can't take the 616 essence of time and go try to fight somebody who's outside of time. It's a logical contradiction, so it will never work. So no infinity stones will even match up to people outside of the universe or even in a different universe. What If actually kind of showed you that too as well, where they try to show you that the different infinity stones don't work once you go in different realities. JN, Tom Hiddleston has best actor in the MCU. he has always been up there for me. Like even in Thor 2, even though we didn't rock with that movie, he had some of the best parts. Loki was probably the best in Thor 2. And Tom Hiddleston's been cooking for a long time. So I don't have a problem saying that that is a factual statement. Shay, thank you so much. The one above all in Marvel Comics are several people in the foundation of timely comics. For example, Stan Lee. Yeah, so they show, or I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're represented in different ways, or they're manifested in different ways. So I think Jack Kirby was the more prevalent depiction of the one above all. But yes, then there were times that the one above all would show up as Stan Lee just to kind of show respect to the comic writers and the creators and stuff. So yeah, you're right on that. But yeah, they definitely showed themselves in different ways, or showed himself in different ways. Travis, so was everything He Who Remains said at the end of season 1 a lie? Also, Loki is the new custodian of the multiverse. I don't know if it's a lie. He has lied. He has lied, but I don't think that. I think that He Who Remains underestimated Loki. So now let me get into my theories, and then maybe y'all can brainstorm off of this, because I'm just gonna go off of some quick things that I thought about that maybe you can call it a theory, you can call it speculation, whatever, but I got questions and I got potential answers. Let's go back. First, let's go to Renslayer. When it came to Renslayer, I was under the impression that, like, once again, she dead. It's done for. You going against Goliath. We know that purple light. It's over with. But the moment I saw this TVA thing here, and the moment I saw this Egyptian, temple here, it gives me the impression that there's some possibility that Ramatut or some Kang variant might actually be there. It could be possible that if you had Loki's hiding there in the void, couldn't you have some Kang variants as well? You got TVA stuff that clearly got pruned and they got sent to the void. So I'm wondering, as Renslayer is a very capable individual, is it possible that maybe she teams up with a Kang and does something there? But here's something else. And I want y'all to back up with me on this. Look at Renslayer's face. She looks very determined. And throughout the series, we started to learn more about Renslayer, which is she was always about grabbing power. She was about taking control. She wanted to rule everything with He Who Remains, but he played her to the left, wiped her memory, and she was not able to accomplish that goal. But she ran the TVA, and He Who Remains confessed earlier on that he would not have been able to win the multiversal war without Renslayer. Now, here's my theory. At first, I think because she was running the TVA, I thought, I was under the impression that he was saying, oh, you helped run the TVA and the TVA went out and fought all these battles and stuff for me. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I don't think that was the case. I have the impression that Renslayer is actually the one who tamed Goliath. I don't know how she did it, but I have the belief that she's the one that tamed Goliath, because we do recall that He Who Remains did say that taming Goliath is what basically stopped the multiversal war. So here's the other thing we know. He Who Remains is a whole liar, right? He is a liar, and he has other people fight his battles for him. So I would not be surprised if we find out, first of all, y'all not finna waste my Google, okay? You're not gonna waste this prime actress by feeding her to the nothingness monster. You're not gonna do that. She gotta come back. And I think she's gonna be the one to tame Goliath and be the equalizer, maybe even in this multiversal war in some way. How she does it, I have no idea. No idea. But I'm thinking right now that she's the one that tamed him. And He Who Remains just stole the credit because, of course, he don't do partners. And that's that. Y'all let me know what you think about that. Do you think It's possible that Renslayer does tame Alioth, or maybe she doesn't and she just finds a way to escape. Personally, I kind of thought that the other Lokis were going to show up, but whatever. Y'all let me know what you think about that theory. All right, so that's one. Here's another one. When you go back to Loki and He Who Remains' conversation, when He Who Remains was talking to him and was basically saying that, like, he wanted to ask him an important question, and he asked Loki, is this the first time we've had this conversation? Or I'm sorry, he said, this isn't the first time we've had this conversation, is it? Now, what's interesting about that question is, and I think this answers some of y'all questions too, this implies one flaw in He Who Remains' plan. He can be susceptible to Loki's time control. So again, we've learned that Loki is learning how to do different things similar to He Who Remains. Now, what is interesting here is the fact that when we saw He Who Remains do certain things, whether it was pausing time, whether it was rewinding, going back or whatever, he always had to use his temp pad. Loki ain't got no temp pad. Loki is doing this stuff because he just learned how to do it. Probably because he's a god, probably because it's magic, whatever. But Loki can do this stuff internally. He doesn't need a temp pad the way He Who Remains does. So I'm just kind of wondering if He Who Remains might have miscalculated what Loki's actually capable of. The moment Loki changed the equation, I think that right there proved that it was part of He Who Remains' plan to groom Loki into this position. That was his plan. But I don't think he accounted for Loki making the sacrifice play. That's the part where I don't think he really thought was going to be the case. Even though it's kind of weird because you still have to deal with the idea of he was grooming him and he selected him to replace him. So anyway, I say all of that because is it possible that He Who Remains had this all according to his plan? Maybe. But we also saw that he had the backup plan with the loom. And Loki went through all these lengths thinking he was in control, but it was always He Who Remains. And he had a failsafe. And then we also know that He Who Remains don't fight his own battles. So I'm wondering, is it possible that He Who Remains, he's tired and he just wants some rest? Maybe he allowed Loki to take over, make Loki think that it was Loki's plan all along. And guess what's going to happen? Loki's about to fight that battle that He Who Remains probably don't want to fight. And he ready to fight it. He tried to tell him, like, yo, man, my variants are coming. Loki don't care. And he was like, all right, cool. So I'm just wondering, this could be part of He Who Remains' plan to take a break. He said he was tired. He said he need a vacation. And there's only one person that can really do it for him. That'd be Loki. Maybe. So I don't know. It's a wild theory. Whatever. Let me just throw one last thing at y'all. One last thing. Because we know now that Loki is in control of all of time, right? And we know that time is not linear. Time is, circular in this case. And you saw Loki imbue his powers into the timelines, right? Maybe he gave it life. Maybe he changed things. We don't know. Maybe he's the god of stories. We don't exactly know what charging up those timelines actually means. But I want y'all to think about this. In Ant-Man Quantumania, we just got the one connection with this show that, yes, they defeated Kang and all that. They acknowledge the events of Ant-Man. Loki is outside of time, but Loki has now restructured what is now the new sacred timeline, which means Loki has already affected not only the present and the future, but he's also affected the past too. Go back to I'm sorry that y'all have to do this. Go back to the end of Ant-Man Quantumania. Do y'all remember? Because I know this was weird for me too. Do y'all remember at the end of Ant-Man how we were sitting here saying, man, this ending feels weird? And Ant-Man said the same thing. Ant-Man was sitting here like, man, this something is weird when he came back. He thought it was Kang. He was like, did we defeat Kang? Is he gone for good? We don't know. And then the screen went up to his face and then it cut off. I think we just saw the effects of Loki Who Remains at the end of Ant-Man. Now, why does that make sense potentially? Because Ant-Man was in the quantum realm, and the quantum realm, you're outside of time. So again, if Loki changed the 616, unless you're in the 616, you would not notice. But Ant-Man was outside of the 616 because he was in the quantum realm where time is very different. It's a whole different dimension. So it's possible that after defeating Kang and coming back into a new timeline from the quantum realm, the reason why Scott Lang felt like things were different is because maybe Loki already changed some stuff. Just thinking. I'm just thinking. Because again, Loki affects everything from past, present, and future. And don't forget, Loki took place during Endgame. Ant-Man took place much later after Endgame. So people won't be feeling those effects, or we might not notice them until later. Anyway, I know this is a little heady. It's a little confusing. My head hurt. I'm hungry. Guys, I'm sorry if I made it more confusing. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff. Allie girl, I know you here. Let me know what you think, because I know you be on these wavelengths with me sometimes. Do y'all think Loki has already affected the 616 and we just have to catch up? Maybe. But I don't think Kang is still in control. I think right now Loki's in control of this timeline. But whatever the Kangs are doing outside of here, they're doing their own thing. So the Kangs are outside the multiverse, but the main tree, the 616 and all the other ones, they're fine because they're under Loki. My head hurt. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't know. I can't do it no more. I can't. It's too late to drink coffee. All right, let's go to these questions here, and then we're gonna go to the last part. Deborah, wasn't there a safety where magic didn't work? What happens now? Is there magic in the TVA now? So there was, but if you recall, Obi turned that protocol off. That happened, I want to say 2 episodes ago when they were calling them. And it was like episode 5, and they were like, turn it off, turn it off. So yeah, they turned it off. So there was, but they did turn it off. So yeah, magic now exists in the TVA, in the new form TVA. Shay, what you got? No, he told his plan. He was tired, wanted Loki to become the new He Who Remains. Loki is still following the plan, just with free will. Immortus wins. I think, sure. Yeah. I mean, the question though is, even though he wanted him to become the new He Who Remains, does he want them there forever? Because I think a good question that kind of got brought up earlier is, how long can Loki do this? I know he's a god. I know he can last for a long time, but like, yo, it looked like, look at what it did to He Who Remains. And he's just a regular guy. He looked like he was crazy. How long is Loki going to be there? Now, I saw some people saying Avenger Prime and all that. Ain't no way Marvel finna sit here and let Tom Hiddleston stay there at the end of time, getting old, and just be there. Ain't no way. Okay. We're going to have to bring Tom Hiddleston back some way, somehow. I don't know how. Maybe he gets a clone of himself, a variant. I don't know. But I know in the comics, King Loki does have a young Loki, kid Loki version. So maybe they do that. But you're not about to let Tom Hiddleston sit there forever. Like, y'all going to have to fix that some way, somehow. But I do think that this is temporary. I don't think that Loki's going to be able to last for however long it is. Maybe it is 5,000 years, but at some point, Loki's going to be like, I'm done with this. I can't. Or he starts to lose his mind. And can y'all imagine what this is going to be like if Thor ever gets to meet him and find out what Loki's been doing? I ain't going to lie. I'm going to get a little emotional. I will get a little emotional if Thor meets his brother and they get all sad and and he's like, oh my god, Loki, like, you are a king. Oh man, Loki, you really are a god. Oh man, like, Thor meeting up with Loki, yo, talk about a payoff. And you're talking about two wildly different people now. That's a reunion I need to see. I need to, before Chris Hemsworth hangs it up, I need to see Thor and Loki come together, be cool, no backstabbing, no turning into snakes, and just have some good, just some brotherly love. I want to see it. I want to see it. Thank you, Shay. Rega, still some unanswered questions like how does He Who Remains Loki actually control time? What timeline is Mobius from? Where is the TVA located? Still best MCU season in my opinion. So, I don't think that I don't think that these need to be answered per se. So, for example, um, how does he actually control time? Like, what explanation is going to make you feel better? You know what I mean? Like, magic. Like, it's science fiction. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this stuff is real. So there, I don't think, like, do you want an equation? Like, what kind of explanation would satisfy? If you tell me Loki puts up a finger and pauses time, that's all I need to know. My brain can't even handle half of this stuff. So I don't think these are questions that need to be answered. I think they're answered enough. He learned it. He knows how to do it. That's all I need to know. Where's the TVA? They're outside of time. Again, you want an address? Like what like what do we really need with this? They're outside of time. They somewhere else. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Um yeah, no, I see what you're saying here. I just did You said here you didn't know how He Who Remains controlled it. Well, he did it just because he had the temp pad. He had the temp pad and science. Science. That's how He Who Remains did it. Science. Um Science. Or as Obi would say, science fiction. It was science fiction. What else? Yeah, so Mobius, he in another universe. He in the 818, 212, 312, 227. Whatever universe you want to call the Sony universe, that's where he's at. So I'm glad I could help. Thank you so much, Rika. Shay, back at it. Season 1 ending credits. Immortus, Season 2, Loki, TVA, and He Who Remains TVA. I need a longer look with the final conversation with Kang. I would love that too. I would love if we can get more of those conversations. I was locked in with that. And the thing is that this will probably be something fun to rewatch after. Like, I would like to wait until the Kang Dynasty thing comes, and then I'll go back and rewatch Loki. Like, this definitely has rewatch ability for sure. Omar, what you got? Do you think they will incorporate Franklin Richards into this storyline? No. I don't think that they will incorporate him because we haven't even gotten the Fantastic Four yet. Now, if Franklin is even born at that point, sure, but Franklin would be, and I don't want to spoil this, for people that haven't read, but Franklin would more than likely be a phase 6 character. And that's if Marvel wants to stick to the comics. That's if they even want to introduce him to Secret Wars or whatever. But no, it's way, way, way too early for Franklin Richards at this point, especially since we haven't even gotten Reed Richards. We haven't gotten the Fantastic Four yet. But sooner than later, but not anytime. I'm sorry, later, not sooner than later in this case. Puma in the comics, Thor and Loki, the storyteller meet. Yes, they do. And that's why I'm saying I want to see it on screen because in the comics, Thor basically helps Loki, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I would love for them to do that on there. Kiki, man, if you don't log off and go get some food, Kiki, listen, I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. And Thorn, thank you so much for the perfect segue for the rating, because now this is actually the question I'm gonna ask all of y'all for y'all rating on this. So here we go. What is your rating on a scale from 0 to 10 for Loki episode 6? Don't give me all the extra ones. Give me episode 6. What is your rating for this episode? While you guys are talking about it, let me go ahead and collect my thoughts. Let me tell you right now, the acting superb. The storytelling amazing. The editing on point. The character development just fantastic. The themes of glorious purpose and the burden thereof, the fact that this character is bonded by fate, textbook. This is exactly what it is. I don't say this often, but this was a 10 out of 10 for me. I couldn't find any real faults in it. I couldn't find anything that did not work. I think everything they intended landed, even if it is a little heavy. But that's the nature of anytime you deal with time travel, multiverse, it's complicated because it's not real. So you have to grasp concepts that are not real. But it tantalizes the imagination. So I'm going with a 10 out of 10 for this episode. Let me see where the people are sitting there with it though. Y'all know I don't give a lot of 10s like in anything. So let's see where y'all are at though. Maybe okay, 9.8, 9, 9.5, 9.5, 9, 9.2. We got a 10, 9, 9. Let's see, 10. My computer's slowing on me now. Hold on, let me get you 9, 10, 9.25, 9, 9.8, 9, 9.5, 1,000. Now, Allie, I told you, okay. 5.5. Come on now, stop it. 9, 9 and 0.8, 10, 9, 9.5, 9.9, 9.5, 9.9, 8, 10, 10, 8, 9.5, 10. All right. And who else we got? 9.5, 9.9, 9.5, 9.5, 1,000 trillion. I don't know what that is. Too late. 7. Dang, it's 7. Okay. 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10. All right, cool. I think the 9s have it. I think the 9.5s have it. And shout out to everybody else. I mean, we just be here forever. We kept going. But now that y'all gave me that, now I need y'all to give me the rating for the whole season. Give me season 2. Season 2 starting right now. What are we saying is the rating for season 2 of Loki? Whew. Let me just say, I didn't think that they can pull it off. They had me worried by changing the director. That still worked out. They had me worried by only going with 6 episodes, because we've seen 6 episodes has not worked very much. That worked out. This is probably the best acting I've ever seen from Tom Hiddleston, damn near anybody in the MCU so far. That was great. I've been more invested in, this series as a whole, and shout out to, maybe it's the time change as well, because that waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning thing, man, that was for the birds. That was for suckers. I'm sorry. Those days are over with, right? So the prime time thing was dope. The conversation, the fact that this series has people talking every week. Do you know, like, I keep trying to tell y'all, the sign of a great show is what it does to people after. If you watch something and nobody talks about it the next day, right after work with their friends, it's not a great show. It might be entertaining, but it's not a great show. And this show got the people talking. How many people? We almost had 400 people in here, and it's late. You know what I'm saying? So, like, clearly, this show did the work. So, I think I'm gonna go ahead. Did it have any weaknesses? Damn it. I might, I might, I think I got to give it a 10. I think I have to give this a 10. I wanted to be extra critical, maybe give it a 9, but I don't right now. I reserve the right to change my mind. But right now I can't think of anything to make it less than a 10 because it did everything I needed it to do. You gave me action, you gave me a character development, you pushed some good themes, you definitely affected the entire MCU, you created a whole new world, you hit it with the VFX. What more do you want? You know, I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10. But let's see where y'all stand on it. 10, 10. Series is a 10, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 and a half, 8 and a half. 10, 9, 9, 10, 10. I hope y'all know we better than Rotten Tomatoes out here. 10, 10. All the people talking. 9.5, 9, 9, 10, 9. Okay, all right. And replay gang, get in on this too now. 9.5, 9 to 6 point. Okay, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 9, 9, 10, and not a drop lower. I love it. 9, 9, 9.7, 10, 9.5, 9, 9, 9.8, 9. Okay, okay. 10, 10, 9, 9, 9.5, 10, 9. Okay. Hey, listen, they did it. They did it, y'all. Like this is what we was waiting for, right? This was it. So, congratulations to Marvel. I think that I can officially say that Loki is now the best series that the Disney Plus Marvel has made. Now, I will say there could be some debate because I had WandaVision as number one. It's a little unfair because Loki had a little bit more to go with, but that's on WandaVision now. So I'm still gonna go with Loki as number one. WandaVision has now moved down to my number two. Um, Feel free to let me know what y'all ranking is for the MCU shows as well. But that's all, guys. I'm here for this. I loved it. Let me see. I got one more comment here. Just saying, E-Man, double slit experiment in physics postulates the multiverse is real. Maybe I don't know what you're saying. Bro, so I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about real physics, postulates, I don't know what none of that. I don't know what you just said. I'm sorry. It's too late. My head hurt. I need some food. I'm tired. And you trying to drop real physics. I don't know. I'm gonna assume you are correct. Okay. I'm just gonna assume you right. All right. Yes, science. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for taking the time once again. I think we're gonna have to find something else to talk about. Are we gonna do Invincible? Maybe we could do Invincible. I know they drop every Friday, so I can do Invincible for y'all if y'all want. Maybe we could push that to Saturdays, so because I think it comes out on Fridays. If that's something y'all want, let me know. And we can go ahead and cover it. It's only like 2 more episodes left, so it's not that much. But we can cover that if you like. And then we'll find something else, I'm sure. But anyway, guys, you know the routine. It's the weekend. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and please do everything in between. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe out there. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Peace.